You know, it might help if I actually click the button that says start streaming. That might help. That might be useful. Anyway, hello, hi, how you doing? How is everybody? Oh, my chat just refreshed. Hold up. Stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it, stop refreshing. Okay, there it goes. Hi, hello. All right, so I'm actually really excited about this update. This update looks really cool, and I feel like we can like confirm and deny a bunch of different theories. So we're gonna probably have a lot to talk about. But the reason why I wanted to wait until today to talk about like the moon stuff, I don't know if you guys saw. Like, I know some of you saw. At least probably a lot of you saw. A lot of you probably saw like the moon teasers. They did like an Instagram reel on it. They did some YouTube shorts, and there's a web event also. That seems like it's going to be updating periodically. I really thought that because last night was the lunar eclipse, that they were going to release like an animated trailer or do a teaser in here or anything like that. I really thought we'd get something else today, even if it was like a little thing. And then we didn't. So I'm conflicted. I'm really conflicted. You thought they would update the web? Yeah, but that's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. So like, I guess it's probably not going to happen until later today. So I guess we might end up doing another stream whenever that update happens or something. I don't know. I guess I could have rushed out a video like some other folks did, but in all honesty, I've been talking about the moons for so long that I'm just like, yeah, okay. Give me something other than my speculations. That'd be great. Yeah. Turning of the moon means abyss reset, which is tomorrow. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, okay, so to be fair, I think the lunar eclipse last night was just for North, Central, and South America. So I don't know if there's like a different event that may be happening on the opposite side of the world that they might be referencing instead. That could be. That could be. That absolutely could be. Yeah, not really for Asia. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. I was wondering if it was like, if they were going to do something else. Yeah. Anyway, I don't even really know where to start. I really, honest to God, don't know where to start. There's so much here. I'm both thrilled to get more dragon stuff, but at the same time, I'm still like, why didn't you give us more of that earlier? Why are you cramming it all into a volcano? I'm so mad. You missed the eclipse? It's okay. Lunar eclipses aren't that uncommon. And actually, I think we're supposed to have a solar eclipse soon? Like within a month-ish, I think. So you might have some other opportunities. I think their running animations are adorable. I think it's funny. Do you guys notice that Ian-san and Varessa swapped running animations for their height? Like Varessa runs like the little chibi models, and Ian-san runs like a taller character. I think that's so funny. My mic volume's kind of low. Is it? I mean, it shouldn't be. I'll turn it up. Is that better? Is that better? Right. Okay, good. Works for me. I think that's funny. I think it's adorable. I love the Tatankasaurus too. Those are great. Those are really great. Hey, Leonidas, thank you for this super. How does the Pyro Archon succession work? Since they all have the same name, is it like instant the moment one dies, the next one inherits the name? Or is there downtime in between where there is no Archon? I don't know. They never talk about it. I don't even think it's in Mahuika's character stories either, because I read through those. And how did Mahuika become the Archon in the first place? So, like, they're not really clear on it. From what I remember, and I would have to go look up a bunch of little disparate pieces of information, but from what I remember, like, you can like take an Archon challenge And if you win in combat, then you can become the Archon, but I still think you have to be chosen by a Wyab. So maybe the name just gets passed on. I don't know if there's anything that says like that someone can't have the same ancient name as somebody else. Or that like ancient names only get passed on when you die. I don't think that's the case. I could be wrong. I just don't remember that being the case. I'm trying to remember. I don't think it is. Why am I always late to the special program? Because I don't want to do this at 8 o'clock in the morning. And also I had other things to do at 8 o'clock in the morning. Also, I've watched the special program already. We're actually just breaking it down. I could turn this on. I could do that just so it's playing in the background. I feel like the voices are going to drive me nuts, though. Maybe I shouldn't do that. Never mind. I'm not going to do that. That'll drive me crazy. I think this is like one of the biggest things that caught my attention here. Simulanka and Durin is literally in the new area. No one is allowed to tell me that the version 0.8 summer events are not foreshadowing the next region. They're just not allowed to tell me that anymore. It's not true. This is like as blatant as you get. Literally as blatant as you get. The little guy getting bigger? I don't know. I don't think he's getting bigger. This is so bizarre, though, that there's like a whole city inside the volcano. I'm waiting for it to show up. It's not at all what I was expecting. I was expecting it to like literally be underground, but it's almost like there's an entire subdomain inside of the volcano, which is kind of wild. Is getting a power up. Yeah. Is this the last quest with the little guy? Yes, it is. This is the last one. This is our finale. This is where we get to figure out like their connection to the Pyro Sovereign. We get to figure out what's up with their curse. We get to figure out what the heck Hakulhun Ubakan is trying to do. We get to do all that kind of stuff. All of it. What are my thoughts on the fourth moon? I mean, there were always 4 moons. I've been saying that for years. I think I have it in like there's like 2 or 3 videos about it on my channel somewhere. I've been saying that for forever. Because the thing is there are, like, if you look at the moon, there are 4 cycles. There's the waxing moon, the full moon, the waning moon, and the new moon. But you can only see 3 of them, right? Because the new moon is always empty. It's hollow. Which is funny because the Welkin moon, which is the, like, you know, the you get the monthly pass thing and it's called the Welkin moon, right? The Welkin moon in Chinese is called the hollow moon or the empty moon, which means that the Welkin moon is the new moon because you can't see it. So it's the rule of 3, but actually 4. Do I like Aoife's design? Okay, dude. Where is Aoife in here? Hold on. We need to bring him up for a second. Where the hell is Aoife? I want his model, not the I want his model, not the artwork. But I guess this will work. Okay. Dude, friggin' Aoife looks like an ethical Latin American Dottore. He really does. Oh, did I just pass him? He straight up does, though. Like, if you look at his hair from the back and everything, he has the same haircut as the Dottore from the manga. Is he ethical? I mean, he's not, like, practicing bizarre experiments on children in labs. You know what I mean? Okay, I am not saying that he's Dottore. I'm just saying that was the first thing I thought about because he even has the same hair color, and it's really funny. Like, his hair isn't white; it's that light blue. And friggin', hold on. I just think this is so funny. Oh, This is Dotori's segment that went rogue. Yeah, the one he didn't delete. Totally what's happening. Totally what's happening. Anyway, I thought that was funny because it got very similar. I don't think it's gonna be him. I just think it's really funny. They don't have this. Well, I'd like to say they don't have the same eyes. They don't have the same eyes. Dotori has red eyes, but you know. Well, I mean, this Dotori has red eyes. The new one doesn't have eyes at all that you can see. But I digress. Anyway, thought that was funny. It was the first thing I thought of when I saw Aoife. I do like his design, though. I think it's pretty cool. But I gotta say, like, when I saw his design, I'm like, oh no, that's cool. But he looks like an NPC from Zenless Zone Zero's Outer Ring. He really does. He looks like that's where he's from. It's like the vibe sort of fits that a little bit better. But I do like his design. I think it works. I just think it's funny. You see the vision from the JP stream and its animo? Yeah. Okay, so now the question is, who died? Right? Who died to give him that vision? Never know. A lot of Natlan characters would fit in ZZZ, to be honest. That's true. That is true. I think out of all of them, though, like, Aoife is the one that I'm just like, I could totally see him in ZZZ. Like, for sure, for sure. What's his trauma? See a vision user, hey, what's your trauma? Best vision user pickup line. Anyway, I think we were, like, around here, so. Okay, this is cool, though. This is cool. I am so excited to see more of the dragon technology, all the secret source technology, because I've been saying for years that the moons are dragons. I'm gonna prove it. I'm gonna. You know what? Hold on. We were talking about moons earlier. I'm gonna. Hold on. This has been driving me crazy. There's also fungi lore here, which is like right up my alley. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so you guys see this, right? The moons are dragons. I've been saying it for years. I can't prove it, but I've been saying it for years. And now that we know that the secret source technology comes from the moon, we can directly connect dragons to the moon now. But we can go one step further. See? You see this? You see this? You see this thing? Take a good look at it. We got to go to the wiki, actually. Hold on. I'm getting all preemptive here. Hold on. This is like the biggest takeaway for me. Oh, it went right to anti-fandom. Thank you. Mural room. That's where I want to go. Okay, listen. Look. This is dragon spine. This is dragon spine, guys. Do you see this? Do you see what's going on here? The thing that we've been talking about with we've been calling Celestia for so long, that ain't Celestia. Okay? But here's the other thing. There's more than one mural room. Yeah, we thought it was Celestia for forever. I don't blame anyone for thinking it's been Celestia. Like, that's just been the consensus. But this really got me. Because, like, this comes with... okay, I'm going to go all over the place here. Don't mind me. I'm going to be all over the place. It's fine. Look at this for a second. You see this guy with horns and this, like, vaguely humanoid shape? But also not really, giving power to what looks to be people, and they've got these wings on the back? Well, let me ask you something. I didn't want to spit a thing. There we go. I'm not on anti-fandom. I don't like it here. Wuck has what on his back? Check it out. You see what I'm saying? He's got the horns. He's got like the little flow back things on the head, which I'm definitely calling horns or whatever, right? And he's got the wing jetpacks. And he's even in the same kind of robe. I'm not saying this is Wahaklahun Ubakan, by the way. This is in Dragon Spine, but Dragon Civilization? Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Abso-friggin-lutely. Okay, so there's one other thing. We were talking about the moons being we gotta go to Surumi Island for a minute. I would just open this up in the game, but I don't really want to. The real question is, oh Jesus, okay, I can't deal with ads. I cannot deal with the ads. Let's see if I remember where the murals are, because I don't. The ones in Surumi are more explicit. I just don't remember what they're called. Oh, here we go. There we go. The mountain murals. Hey, check this out. There it is again. There it is again. Except this time, it's almost basically that symbol, right? Where you've got like the gold outer ring and you've got like the multiple circles on the inside. Like they've been hinting at this for a long, long time. In fact, hold on. In fact, I might have to. All right, so like, yes, Celestia does have this shape, but we have to like look at the possibility that this might actually be a dragon civilization now. We actually have to consider that. That is a possible thing. I might have to go to like the actual manga here. I might have to go to the actual manga because I don't know. Oh, look, they've got it here too. Yeah, I think I gotta go to the actual manga. Like, okay. No, I don't want that now. I just want the manga. We gotta go this way. I gotta find it the manual way. I think it's like well in here. Maybe? Because I think it was when, or is it in the beginning? Oh, it might be in the beginning. I might have passed it. Hold on. I'm going backwards anyway. Because this is right to left. There's this, which is the shot that they're looking at there. But check this out. It was in the beginning. There are dragons up here. This came out before the game released. Anyway. Anyway. Do you guys remember how I keep saying A is a dragon and then I refuse to elaborate because it's just so complicated because the pieces are all over the place? This is part of the reason why I go down that route. Is because of the scenario with like this connection between the Celestia and the moons and everything else. And her connections with the moons. What if the moons are just giant eggs? I mean, it could be. I don't know if I can really explain it now in a way that's like super convincing, but like the vibes are so there. Like I can't. Did I just say A? Yes, I did. I think A is in a fake body. I think she's a dragon consciousness in a fake body that Makoto made her. And manipulated her memories. I'm serious. Also, like, consider the fact that, like, A, for example, like, currently... Is this still playing? No, it's not. Okay. A is, like, a consciousness inside of a sword right now. And one thing that I've noticed is that a lot of dragons are associated directly with weaponry. Like, for example, Shuicoatl, if we just look at Shuicoatl, this one's really, really odd because... This one. Please don't ask me to say this without practice. I always say it wrong without practice. Okay. This is what I was looking for. this guy used Shweequaddle as a weapon. But in the game, Shweequaddle uses Huitzilopochtli as the weapon because it's in the volcano or around the volcano or something like that. It's like, so like they've swapped, right? So in this case, the dragon is the weapon, is the sword. So like that's kind of where I'm at with A too. I'm just like the dragon is the weapon, is the sword. But. Anyway, I'm gonna say it forever. Also, it's just like there's so many moon symbolisms in friggin' A's kit. Like when she does her charge attack, she makes a big gold crescent moon. Right? I know that's technically like the Shogun. But like if you like go through her Jesus, where's her? Oh, it might not have it on anti-fandom. It might only have it on fandom, which means I actually have to go to regular fandom. Fine. Take your stupid ad money. If you're wondering why I don't have an ad blocker, it's because I don't usually use Chrome. I use other browsers, but like all my personal stuff set up on those browsers, so I don't like to use them for this. Wait. Maybe I'm just dumb. I wanted to see her charged attack. Yeah, there it is. It's hard to see because it's moving, but if you look at that final swing, it is a big gold glittery moon. You see it? Mm-hmm. Plus Raiden May and HI3 had a dragon in her gameplay. Yeah. Also, Wanderer is full of moon references. This isn't really what I came into the live stream to go off on, but I'm going to go off on it because we're going to go off on it. Why is this ad like half the fucking page? Are you serious right now? I can't. Anyway, no, hold on. I want to show you something else. So Wanderer, who is made by A, right? He shoots half moons, which seems like, you know, whatever. But, oh, it's not this one. Hold on. We need to go to it. I can spell, I promise. We need to go to his quest for a second, because this is funny. I think it's this one. Yeah. Okay. This whole sequence of his like memory and his story and everything. I think it's interesting that first off, he has a crimson moon here, or at least a moon giving off crimson light, right? And then this thing here says, never again would it cherish a single creature nor a blade of grass that would stood on the mountain. The kitten spent the nights wandering aimlessly, gnashing its teeth at the moon, which in my opinion is like his mom. I think in this case, his mom, A, is the god that he's mad at because that is where all his anger is directed at normally. So I think that's what the moon is referring to here. But then it says how it wished to swallow the moon and devour the moonlight. And that is basically Wanderer going through his Kunikazushi phase, because that means nation destroyer. Because that's what he was trying to do. He was trying to like burn it all to the ground, right? If the world could only return to darkness, then it would finally be peaceful and content. And then he says, I will become the new moon, the answer to everything. Which is basically what the teasers were, right? They were talking about how the three moons went away, and then they were kind of like formed this new moon at the end. This darkness at the very at the very end. So in this case, the new moon and all that kind of stuff is referring to a new god, right? Like he's trying to replace his mother to become the proper archon here. The gnosis is his, right? That's the sign of godhood, of archonhood, right? This is what's going on. I'm not, okay, so just to be clear, I am not saying that Wanderer is the moon. I'm just saying this is an allegory, and it's something to pay attention to because Wanderer was the hero of Simulanka. And in Simulanka, we had that whole thing with Durin, which was the dragon that we had to pacify and everything. And now, in here, as many of you pointed out, somewhere in here, there is a new boss monster. Somewhere in here. I don't know where he is. He's in here somewhere. We'll just let it play. There's this new boss monster that is just straight up a non-Lego version of that Durin fight. Just straight up. Right? And don't forget, like, I don't really know what else to say here other than this is like a little baby Durin. Those little things are like little baby Durins. I'm so just kind of... Anyway. Oh, this is one of them. The fact that Hoyoverse loves Evangelion and loves Shinji and loves Asuka is not lost on anyone who's been paying attention, because Child is 100% Asuka, and that's why he's getting all of this special treatment with this, that, and the other thing. Dear Lord, this thing's also wild. And then Wanderer is easily Shinji in this case. So it's like really funny to me. It's the train from Simulanka. Yeah, exactly. Does Capitano have any connections to all of that? Not that I've thought about. There's Wook. There's Wook. Wookie bastard. Uh-oh for Child. Oh, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. So we think we have to hang the stars in the sky here? I mean, okay, so, I mean, yes, actually. Hold on, let's rewind a little. Let's rewind and go look at these areas again. We gotta go back a little further, hold on. I definitely didn't show the boss. I don't know where he is in here. He's in here somewhere. The Scars boss fight translation, Latin and Japanese. There's lots of potential lore heavy stuff there as well. Yeah, I mean, okay, so there's a lot of stuff in Wanderer's boss fight too with the Shoki no Kami, because like if you look up at his one-hit KO attack, like where he's building that giant orb in the air, no one ever really goes up and looks at that, because like if you do and you don't kill the little pillars on the ground, you'll die. If you look up though, that thing looks suspiciously like the patterns on Gosoithoth. I'm just saying. Do I have a Discord server? Yes, I do. You can join it by becoming a YouTube channel member. You do not need to always be a YouTube channel member to access a Discord. You just need to be a YouTube channel member once, and then you're basically in the Discord for forever. I'm just using it as a moderation system to, you know, keep bots out and scams out and things like that, because there's so much of it these days. Oh my god. And if you're having a really hard time with getting into the server, you can always message me on Ko-fi. I don't think you need to donate to do that. You just need to send me a message so that I can just verify you are a person, and I will send you an invite directly in that case. If you go through your channel member process and all that kind of stuff. That's all. It's just a validation method. Keeps things nice and cozy in there. Make sure we keep the bots out. I don't like the bots. Is the volume really? I don't think if I turn the volume up any higher, I'm gonna blow out my mic. I'll start peeking into red, and I don't wanna. Scar probably needed the Gnosis to control whatever the big ball was. He might have, yeah. It's just something worth keeping in mind. But, okay, so look at this. Look at this. You guys were talking about stars in the sky. Here you go. What do these look like? Do those look like stars to you? Because they sure as heck look like stars to me. They look like stars to me. In fact, a friend of mine was trying to identify whether or not this looked like a specific constellation. I couldn't tell if it looked like a specific constellation. See, there's the friggin' sky train. Um, but she's looking into it. So that'll be really interesting to find out. Really interesting to find out. Background looks like the Night Kingdom. Suns! Oh, wait. Yeah, suns are just stars with planets around them. Do you think we'll get more moon lore in this quest? Oh, yeah. Like, look at this. Look at this. That is a star, man. That is a star right there. You see it? The 4 points. Little core at its center. Holding everything together. Little dragon pearls. I love me some dragon pearls. All right, I straight up do not know where this boss fight is. I really don't. I think I probably missed it somewhere. I have no idea. The thing is, they've been teasing the Shattered Sky for like ever. You guys remember when we did the Golden Apple Archipelago and Fischl? We had the Fischl Island, right? Because like the Fischl Island had a Shattered Sky as well. It's in the trailer, not further in. Oh, that's why. See, that's why I have you guys. That's why I have you guys. Okay, I think the trailer starts around here. There we go. Okay, we'll get it here. Or maybe I'll just open up the trailer in another tab so it's easier to scrub through. I want to talk about this too in a second. If we have a sky train, maybe we'll need to return the stars to the sky again, just like it was in Simulanka. Yeah, we might. But also, I want you guys to remember something about Simulanka. I want you guys to remember something about Simulanka. Oh, this is gonna be tricky to remember. So I'm gonna look at the it's not gonna be on here. Okay, never mind. Let's go here for a minute. Let's go here for a minute. Because there's a bunch of little quests throughout this whole process. There are these. I wanted to... Let's go figure out where it is in the story. This one. Because after you do this one, okay, what's the name of the next one? Is it Metropol's? It's not Metropol's Treasure Hunt. No, it's not. What is the name of the quest that does the, I thought it was this one, but I guess it's not. All right. I don't want to find it on the wiki. So I'm gonna wait, hold on. We are at 4.8. Simulanka! Simulanka. Open up, please. Hold on. This is a spinning hard drive that this is on. It might take a second. Yeah, this island. Okay, so I forget who it was. I think it was Chalk. I think Chalk pointed this out. I think Chalk pointed this out. I'll go see. Let's see. No. Off. Off. Quiet, you. You guys remember this island? Do you, huh? Do you, huh? I bet you do. Okay, so we had 3 offerings that we were supposed to give this thing. One of them was a dragon scale. And it was over here. It's that shield. Well, I didn't pause it. So one of the offerings we had to give was this dragon shield. Hold on. What happened to my chat? My chat died. Hold on. My chat died. No. Oh, chat, come back. Come back, chat. Hang on. I can't see you guys. What happened to my... Okay. That was weird. Stop it. I'm sorry, I'm experiencing some technical difficulties where I literally cannot see you guys. I'm all alone. There's no one inside me. And my troubles go on and on. Dude, what is happening? Hold on. Why is it like this? I can't see anybody. Sorry, it just crashed and I'm at a loss. Hold on. What? No, not you. Not you. Not you. Not you. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Oh, I hate everything. Wow, for real? Okay, so apparently my internet went out. Yeah, okay, so my internet went out. Are we back? Because I lost you guys. Okay, cool. Cool, cool, awesome. That was weird. Yeah. Okay. I am being silenced because I was right. I don't like the censorship. Hoyo called us out earlier too. They're just like, yeah, so we got all this stuff about life keepers and the lore keepers better get their pencils ready. And I'm like, no, you leave me alone. Are we actually back or am I crazy? Okay, I think we're actually back. Oh, you think this was a YouTube thing? No, I think it was an internet thing because I was having a hard as heck time trying to just get anything to load for a second. I think that was actually my internet. I think it just blipped. I don't know what went wrong. Anyway, as I was saying, what was I saying? Oh, right. Okay, Simulanka, let me go. Let me go. I don't know. I'm hyper. I want my candy and it's just sitting right there, but if I suck on the candy, then I'm gonna just make noises on stream and it sounds awful, so it's just sitting there and taunting me. Okay. All right. So in Simulanka, right, we had this opportunity to do this little optional quest, right? Where we could hold on, spinning drive has to ramp up again. Remember what life was like before solid state drives? Do you guys remember? Do you? I remember, because I'm old. Okay. So we had to get 3 different things, right? You had to get this shield, which was a dragon's scale. And then you had to get, I don't know if I have it in this clip or if I've got to go to a different clip. Oh, no. Yeah, okay. And then we had to go here. And we had to add a sword, which I don't think I had at this point, or did I? Did I have it? It might be in a different clip. There's my shield. I think I had to go get it at this point. I think I had to go get it at this point. Hold on. Which clip is this? 53? 54 is just... Yeah, here we go. So we had to get this weapon. And this weapon, I think, was supposed to be a dragon's horn. If I'm not mistaken. So there's a dragon's scale, a dragon's horn. And then we had to complete the lighthouse quest. And then the lighthouse quest was that orb, right? So what if the orb is just like a dragon pearl? So we got a dragon scale, a dragon sword, and a dragon pearl. And then that pearl comes up and it turns into the moon. Dun dun dun! Ta-da! Which technically makes those 3 witches 3 moon sisters, which just puts me back on my Alice agenda. Because my Alice agenda is that I really think she's a djinn. And a djinn is born from a Seelie, and I think Seelies and dragons are technically the same type of entity. Because Seelies used to obey the moon sisters. And I also think that the moons are dragons of sorts. So, like, I think there are just, like, night dragons, and then there are day dragons. And I think the moon sisters and Seelies were, like, night dragons, and then there were other dragons like Wahaklahun Ubakan who are like sun dragons. Anyway, y'all understand what I'm saying? You guys hear what I'm saying? Do you understand what this rock is cooking? It's nonsense, but it's fun. So the way I was looking at this from a Natlan perspective, because this is supposed to be foreshadowing Natlan, right? So this over here is a scale, the shield, right? When I think of the shield, I also think of that really bizarre stuff that we call Ashton pyrophosphorite. This stuff, which, hey, what does that look like? Does that look like a dragon scale? 'Cause it definitely is a dragon scale. That is certainly a dragon scale. So we had a dragon scale in here in Simulanka. It was one of the 3 things to resurrect the moon. And we've got a dragon scale right here. So if this sword over here is a dragon's horn, well, question. What is, what's up with this little guy? I should just do this in the special program. I should just do this in the special program. The little guy has something wrong with his horn, right? He's got the Flame Lord's blessing on his horn. Here he is. He's over here somewhere. Right? So we've got the pyrophosphorite scale, which he was actually carrying around in Natlan, right? He's got something wrong with his horn. The horn is the sword in this case. And then there's a dragon pearl that we've got to get. And if you guys remember, we have 2 halves of a dragon pearl. We have the golden entreaties. We have 2 of them. And those 2 are supposed to have been split from Shiaquattle's eyes. So his eye, his vision was split in 2 and made into the golden entreaties. And I had that whole big thing about how visions were dragon pearls. I made 2 whole videos about it. 2 whole videos. 2 whole videos. and in the Men of Lithan video, we're going to talk about that too. We're going to talk about that too. I want to point out this right here for the etymology of the word dragon, if you guys didn't watch the Men of Lithan video. Because this apparently comes from drakon, which makes sense, right? But it means serpent. But it's believed that this has a different root called durkamai, which means I see. In other words, visions, eyesight, all that kind of stuff. And then you look and it's got this big old flaming pearl. Sorry, I'm getting conspiracy theorist now. I'm done. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I want my candy. Eye pearl. Eye pearl. Yes. Fish dragon eyes. Got the eyeballs. Look in the eye. I did more than 2 videos on that. No, I think I only did 2 on. Well, okay, no, you might be right. No, okay, no, you're right. You're right. I did 2 videos on visions are dragon pearls, and I did 1 video on visions as the cores from Xianxia style novels, which I equated to dragon pearls, so that's valid. Okay, so there's 3. In other words, there's no excuse for not knowing this at this point. Anywho, the little guy becomes the moon? Maybe. I mean, technically speaking, Mahuika became the new sun. So if we want to look at it this way, then maybe the little guy becomes a new moon, or maybe the captain is the new moon. I don't know. I don't know. Sorry, there's a lot going on in chat at the moment, and I think I missed something when I was on my little tirade. Hold up. Let me... Oh, I did. Yeah, I missed a couple things. Sorry. Fencer Dario, thank you for the super, and thank you for your patience. I went off on a bit of a tangent there. Is there by chance a video in the works detailing your thought process on why you think A is the Electro Sovereign? Most people miss the VOD here. There isn't, but I should make one. However, it might end up being a footnote in a different video I'm making. I am currently in the process of writing a video about the moon, but I don't want to tell you why. And I don't want to tell you any more than it's just about the moon, because it'll ruin the surprise. But because it's in there, and because we just got all this new moon lore and stuff, and I was gonna write this anyway, and it just so happened to... The stars aligned for this one. That was kind of funny. I might put her in as like a subsection, because like trying to prove that A is the Electro Sovereign is very difficult. Trying to prove that A is a moon is a little tricky. And trying to prove A is a dragon in general is easier than trying to prove she's the sovereign, but about as tricky as trying to prove that she is related directly to the moon. It's just very tinfoil hat. And it's just, it's based on a lot of circumstantial evidence, which is very different than me being like trying to piece something together. Like, so there's a lot of different ways to write theories and a lot of different types of theories, right? Like, there are theories where you're actually like pulling hardcore pieces of information and being like, look, based on this evidence that we have that's very concrete and irrefutable, we can derive this conclusion, and this is my theory, right? Like that's kind of like the most solid form of theory. And then there's just like the crack off the rails conspiratorial theories, and for me, those are really fun, but I don't usually like to do those because they're very loosey-goosey. But then there are those theories that are like totally vibe based, and like it's very difficult to articulate those because there's no concrete thing you can point to. Everything is just circumstantial, or it could be a coincidence, or it just could be that whole like 6 degrees of separation thing, or you could be seeing patterns where there aren't any. It's very much like that, and that's how it is for me with A, but it just makes so much sense, and I really like the idea, so I'm kind of like invested in it, but it's very difficult for me to sit down and try and prove it out to someone else. It's very hard, which is why it might end up becoming a footnote in this other theory that I'm working on that's tangentially related, but might not get its own video. So, Chris Neff, thank you for the super. Hey, did you see Jean's birthday message? Also, love your work. Thank you. I did see it. I know people are saying there's lore drops in it, but I don't think there really are. I mean, it's just that she mentions her mother, right? That's all I remember from it. But I guess some people are taking that to mean that Dornmanport and Varka might be coming soon because she mentions both of them. But they've been mentioning them for years. At this point, I don't really want to get my hopes up because I feel like I'm just going to get disappointed again. Unless Dornmanport is connected to Nod Cry. Now, that would be interesting. That'd be an interesting possibility. Vibe check is honestly a powerful thing. Yeah, I know, but like, it's something that's really difficult to make a video based off of. Unless I open the video being like, hey, listen, I'm gonna make a tinfoil hat theory. There may be no factual basis to this. Just keep that in mind. I don't know if I want to do that. I mean, I could. Could. It's valid, I guess. Varka updated location. Yeah, but like he did that with Mika too, and then nothing came of it. So, I mean, like, I understand the excitement. I'm just like of the opinion that like I don't want to get excited and then get baited. You know what I mean? Okay, but even I know, but like even if Varka is in Nod Cry, think about this for a second. When are we seeing Nod Cry? In like 12 weeks, right? No, more than that. Sorry. 18 weeks. There's going to be months before we go there. Months. 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 We live for tinfoil hat. You did that with Monogius and we saw what happened there. Yeah, I know. That's exactly my point. That like, right? Like even though crack theories are fun, I feel like there's this part of the community that doesn't tolerate them. And it just ends up being a massive, I don't know. The comment section is just never fun on those. Not Cry isn't until August is a summer event. It's no, but we'll probably get the Not Cry is not going to be the summer event. I'm pretty sure we'll probably get Merjavari for the summer event. That'd be my guess, or something tangential to it. Maybe another Bottle Land kind of thing. No, but Nod Cry wouldn't be until after the summer event. And that doesn't happen for a hot minute. I understand the sentiment of like do what you want and have fun with it and the rest can pound sand, but like eh. The speculation part is the most fun. You miss those? Yeah, but let me put it this way. It was a lot easier to do those sorts of videos a couple of years ago, because the rate at which Hoyo was giving us more information that was actually solid and that you could build anything off of was really slow. And nowadays, they're giving us information at such a rapid pace that by the time you've come up with a crack theory and put something out, 3 weeks have passed and something else has come out that completely turns it, like refutes it. So it ends up having no longevity, right? Like for crack theories, at least, I like them to have some level of longevity. Like I like them to stick around for a little bit so that they can kind of like mull around and generate it. Like I just like that part of it a little bit more. I think it's really difficult these days to write those shorter term theories unless you write them the way DeWitt does it, which really isn't my style. I'll leave that to him. You hate lore theorists that act like Genshin is a science. It's not. Yeah, I feel it. I get it. I think it's just like it's just different styles. I feel like I just find it a lot harder to do crack theories these days because they don't live that long. Like I said, like they just don't live that long. So I have a hard time with them. Yeah, and DeWitt does such a great job with it. I'm just gonna let him do what he does best, and I'll just keep doing my thing. But you know, like I think throwing in some cracker vibe based stuff inside other videos that are meant to be a bit more um uh that are meant to have a bit more staying power, I think that's fun. I don't know. The other thing too is I don't know if you guys notice, but my videos keep getting longer. But the thing, of course, everyone's noticed that. I'm being facetious. The problem with longer videos is that they take longer, which means I put more resources into them, which means that they're technically more expensive to make on both um, money invested and time invested, right? And so if I make crack theories and I want to make them the way I make everything else, then, you know, I got to put a lot of time and a lot of energy into them. And sometimes that's just not tenable. That's why I say like I prefer them to have a little bit more staying power because if they're really long and they take a lot of investment to make, then you know they should be around long enough to at least make back the cost that they take to make them. And that's the tricky part. That's the tricky part. So you have to for the for crack theory, you have to make them short, and I'm as you guys well know, short isn't exactly something I'm good at. Yeah. Have you thought about doing streams for cracked theories? That's what this is. That's what you're in right now. uh, Roman PL01, thank you for your super. Something I found in the Moon Web event, the outer circle with the locked EP elements. I think you just mean locked elements. Has 8 spots, which is exactly how many moon phases there are total. The outer circle has 8 I guess that's true. There are 11 of those unlocked or those unlockable spots total. So I'm not quite sure how that would play out. I guess you'd have 8 on the outside and 3 in the middle. Is that how it is? I can't remember. I have to go look it up. I gotta go look it up. Lester, thank you for the super. Oh, Oracle Ashikai, do you have any hunch feeling ideas when we may encounter the sustainer again? I worry about her health and hope she's eating well. I don't think she needs to eat. I don't think she's human. I don't think that's a thing. I am never doing YouTube shorts, for the record, guys. Like, I'm just never doing them. It's not my style. I hate them on principle for the most part. And if you ever see a short from my channel, I've been hacked. Please send help. As for the sustainer, I don't think we'll see her until Snezhnaya. Not even Nod Cry, but Snezhnaya proper. Yeah. The other thing that annoys me about shorts is that they don't have dates on them. Because, like, it's really hard to tell, like, especially when they do shorts for news or anything else, like, it's so hard to tell if that news is still relevant. Like, what if it's science news and there's been, like, a breaking change to some sort of sciencey sort of thing, and, like, now you get the short out there that's, like, you know, outdated, but it's still running. which is how you're supposed to do it because you need to have that stuff archived, but then you don't have the date on it. So now no one knows, well, is this the recent one or is this the not recent one? It's stupid. I hate it. Anyway, if I ever do shorts, I've been hacked. Just know that. Star, thank you for the super. Do you think the treasure hoarder insignia looks like the Three Moon Sisters web event symbol? Also, off topic, but is the Conrian star in the middle of the Fatui wheel, or am I seeing things? You're not seeing things. Have I shown you guys this before? I don't know if I have. We'll talk about the insignia in a second. Have I shown you this before? I'm not talking about the masks at the top. I just happen to put everything in the same file. Don't really mind that. But yeah, so if you look down here at the Fatui symbol, you'll notice that it looks just like the top of the spinning wheel from Bottle Land. And a spinning wheel is something you use in tandem with a loom because it spins the thread you weave with. And then the thing to remember about this is that this is a pocket watch, right? And this over here is also a watch, and so is this. And if you'll look, these are both just turned like a few degrees, right? And this, if you look at it, this one in particular, is exactly the same as the Fatui symbol. So if you look at these as just like a tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock, you're literally weaving threads like you're weaving time. And that's where I think this symbol comes from. I-tier symbolism. Yeah, this is like something else, though. I don't really know what to make of this just yet. But I was noticing a pattern, and it annoyed me. I don't know what this means. Anyway, that's what I think about that. As far as like the treasure hoarder stuff goes, my dude, my guy, where have you been? Where have you been? Let's go back in time for a second. I've been haunted by this video I made forever ago. Look at this. Look what I did 3 years ago. Aren't those sun clocks? Yeah. But that's kind of the point. You're literally weaving time. That's my point. That's a very old video. Yes. I was actually trying to prove that the treasure hoarders were connected to Conria. I don't know that the theory itself inside the video is particularly strong, but there's some stuff in there that's still relevant today that I think is interesting. And especially in the context of like what kind of information we had 3 years ago. Because remember, we didn't know a whole lot back then. A lot of things have happened since then. The old Sumeru thumbnail. Yeah, back when I thought the Nagadis gemstone was actually going to continue to reference the Naga. And then they were just like, no, we're not going to tell you anything about the dragon people just yet. You have to wait till Natlan. Like, okay, fine. Is my internet? My internet's not dying. I still see you guys. I still see you guys. It should still be good. You might want to refresh. I wonder if my bit rate's too high. I could look at that really quick. I don't know if I can change it right now. Oh, no, I don't think I can. No, I think that's about as good as we can go for right now. Sorry. That's all we got. Anyway, good times. I was haunted by this video for like 2 days after this moon stuff came out. Anyway. Oh, anywho, that's good stuff. What was I doing? I lost my train of thought. We were talking about treasure hoarders. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, about the treasure hoarder insignia. As far as that goes, the thing about the treasure hoarder insignia is like it always reminded me of I'm trying to remember this one. This is the story that I remember as a kid. I grew up on. I read primarily as a child. Most of my childhood book library, like the little picture books and stuff that I would read, were all about Native American tales. This one in particular is one that stands out to me, particularly because it's about how the raven stole the sun and brought it to the rest of the world. I think I referenced this tale in a video I made about Kaya, actually. Actually, it might be in that video. I need to look at the script again because I don't remember what's in it. It's been so long. I've written so many things since then. I don't really remember what went where. But I was looking at this in regards to Kaya because this was an interesting take on it. Because he's very raven coded, especially since he's very Odin coded, and Odin had 2 ravens with him, right? And I'm just looking at suns and all of that kind of stuff. You look at the way that like the sun gets drawn in some of the that's like an anyway. It just reminds me a lot of the Genshin one. Like you compare it to if you look at the raven insignia, like it's quite similar. Like it's got the raven and it's got what looks to be, in my opinion, a sun in the middle. So, I mean, I still think there's something there. And if you remember back at the Nartzenkreuz World Quest, there's like that, what do you call it? When we were confronting Jacob in the headquarters of the Institute, he was saying something like, a pheasant now sits upon the throne. And the thing about a pheasant, it's a very brightly colored bird. And it's related, I believe. Yeah, a ring-necked pheasant. Which is actually interesting if you think about the ring cycle. I recently learned that the 12 Days of Christmas song is actually a song that's thought to be entirely about birds. Apparently every single day, the guy's just giving his true love a different kind of bird. So the 5 golden rings were thought to be like a ringed pheasant like this. So he just gave her 5 pheasants. Those are the 5 golden rings. Anyway, my point is here is like this is related to the peacock, which I think is interesting because Kaya is a peacock. And if you want to go a little bit more conspiratorial, in Star Rail in Amphorius, which is very Genshin flavored, the Titan that rules in the sky right now is named Aquila, and I'm 100% certain that they are a peacock as well. I'm without a doubt. I'm pretty sure they're a peacock. A song most foul. Is a peacock a pea-sized chicken? No. Not at all. But Aquila is an eagle? Technically, yes. However, consider the possibility that, I want you to look at Aquila for a minute. This is what we know of Aquila, like, of their actual body. It's got a long neck. Eagles don't have that. Peacocks do. Peacocks have long necks. You know what else Aquila has? 1,000 eyes. You know what peacocks have? Peacocks have like 100 eyes on their tail. I'm pretty sure Aquila is a peacock. So, yeah. Ta-da! 1,000-eyed bird, yeah. 100 to 1,000, yeah. Well, I mean, like, I don't know if it's 100 or 1,000. I think it's 1,000, but it might be less than that. But it doesn't really matter because, like, oh, what's the guy's name? What's the guy's name? The guardian of Hera's garden. What's his name? What is his name? No, not him. No, the peacock guy. Argus. Yeah. She, like, took a bunch of the eyes from a peacock and put it all over Argus's body. Or something like that. I think that's what it was. Oh, there's too many. Yeah, this one. This guy. Da-da-da. Oh, he guarded Io, not the garden. That's my bad. Yeah, this one. His eyes were then incorporated into the peacock's tail by Hera. I guess I had it the other way around. I thought it was the peacock that was onto him, but I guess it was the other way around. Well, he's supposed to be covered in eyes or something. Depends on the myth interpretation, I guess. Oh, this one says Hera transformed him into a peacock. Either way, you get the idea. Oh, okay, it's Ovid. Ovid said that Argus had over 100 eyes. Okay, there we go. All right, I got off topic, sorry. Is that why Anaxa is peacock coded? Yes, maybe, but no. Anaxa is peacock coded because he's Sue coded. He's technically supposed to be like the Sue variant, and Sue is very peacock coded, but that's a discussion for another day. Not really what I wanted to get into. My point was, Hoyo has a trend of connecting these birds of paradise with heavenly paradises. In other words, the sky and that kind of stuff. So I'm looking at it from more of that perspective. Just to be clear, Anaxa isn't necessarily associated with the Twilight Courtyard. He's associated with the Grove. The Twilight Courtyard is associated with the Grove, is my understanding, not the other way around. It's Hyacine who's with the Twilight Courtyard. She just happens to be his assistant, his teaching assistant, or at least was at one point. Renova was depicted as a giant eye. Yeah, depicted as a giant series of eyes in the sky. Aquila? Yeah, I'm gonna say Aquila. Because there's an eye in it. I have a gripe against Greek, okay? Because they decided her name was going to be Cyrene and not Cyrene, and I'm still mad about it. It's fine. I don't think they'll be mad about it. Did I talk about the secret source dragon that appears at 9:43 in the live stream? Which one appears at 9:43? Asking me about timestamps is not a great plan. Oh, is that that's the Durin one. That's the one we were looking for. Yeah. Yeah. This is Durin. Hi, Durin. Okay, fun fact. Hold on. Let me see if I can remember what this is. I think it's this one. So I didn't realize this until like a month ago. I was arguing with someone that these have to be dragon machines, and the other person was arguing that they weren't. But if you look at its attack formation, this is called Dragon Claw, and it literally turns into a hand, which means that the secret source automaton configuration device is straight up just this guy's hands, which means we've only been fighting the hands of this thing. Isn't that wild? So this thing's just the hands. Oh, Aquila is Latin. Okay, yeah, you're right. That's fine. That's fine. I don't have any respect for Latin either. It gave us English. It gave us this horrific language that is English. Curse you, Latin! Or feet. Well, I mean, you know, for a dragon, it's your front feet are your hands, right? Aquila Pavonia? Yeah, exactly. Anyway, that was kind of my point. That's all I wanted to mention. I didn't quite realize that that's what this is supposed to be because I wasn't paying much attention to it. Or, well, technically both of these, because this claw and barrel one is the same thing. It just, this one also shoots bolts at the same time. Dragon bits, yeah. Isn't English a mix of Germanic and Latin? Listen, you're also a mix of your mother and your father. I'm free to hate one of them, and I hate Latin. To be fair, I can't say anything Germanic either, so I guess the hatred extends to both, but Latin is more prevalent and therefore gets more attention from me. How many hands it had? Well, I'm not saying that these are the hands of this particular dragon. I'm just saying that if you combine like this, this secret source automaton is just straight up a dragon hand for a dragon. Yeah. So I'm excited about that. That's awesome. I can't believe they actually went full-on Lego dragon. Like, this is literally Lego dragon. Technically, Latin gave us French that combined with German and Gaelic dialects. Listen, Latin is what you get when the Tower of Babel crumbles. Like, the Tower of Babel is just Latin. And then it crumbles, and then you just have, like, pieces of Latin that get put into these big piles of stone blocks that a bunch of people take away and build all these little other towers. Do you think we'll get the Durin resurrection before Nod Cry or after? Honestly, after. Or during. I think it'll be Nod Cry, and then like 6.1 will get a Mondstadt expansion or something, and it'll involve that. It's either that or like we still haven't had our Dainsleif quest, okay? He's not in this patch. He's got 5.6 and 5.7 to show up. Because 5.8 at the latest is going to be our summer event, and that's going to be what's foreshadowing Nod Cry. That is not going to be Dainsleif's quest because it's not going to be permanent, right? So he's got 2 patches to show up. So he either has to show up next patch, which would be a good time for him to show up, actually, because usually we have like an exploration patch, and then we have a quest patch, and then an exploration patch. So next patch being a Dainsleif quest would actually be realistic to me. So I personally still think that Durin is going to be part of the Dainsleif quest. But that is based on literally 0 bits of evidence. It's based entirely on vibes. So, yeah. Dame will appear with Skirk. Yeah, but that's my point. Okay, I've been saying this for forever, but Durin was made by a sinner. He was made by Rhine-daughter, right? Skirk is the student of a sinner. She's the student of Sertology. And Wanderer is made with sinner technology from Conria. And he's supposed to help with Durin. So I'm looking at it going, what happens if you had a Dane quest where he had to work with Wanderer and Skirk to revive a dragon? Or to stop them from reviving a dragon? Because that would be hysterical. It would be so funny. Skirk is in 5.7, so it's 5.7. No, I mean, like, she at best would be playable in 5.7, right? Because they said, like, in that preview thing that that lineup was, like, through 5.7, so it could be next patch, or it could be 5.7. I just think it's funny. I think that is a funny possibility, and I am here for it. Anyway, Senpai Reads, thank you for your super chat and your patience. It's been a hot minute. Sorry about that. Apologies if I missed it, but if Wanderer is Shinji and Child is Asuka, who would you say is Kaoru? I can never say his name. Kazuha. Easily. It's easily Kazuha. But he has a better ending this time. Doesn't die. But no, Kazuha is definitely the Kawaru of this time. Kawaru. I can't say his name. I can't say his name. Leave me alone. The dyslexia gets me so hard on it. I don't know why. I don't know why. But no, Kazuha not only just looks the part, but technically, like, his relationship with Wanderer is kind of reminiscent of it, because Kazuha is sort of representative of a lot of the lingering regrets that Wanderer has surrounding Tatara Suna, you know? So, anyway. Do I hate Japanese too? No, I don't. I don't hate Japanese. Believe it or not, in high school, I took Japanese classes instead of French or German or Spanish. I actually did Japanese for 4 years. I'm just really old. It's been a long time since I've done them, and I haven't practiced at all. And for some reason, doing Japanese in English really fucks with the way I read it. Especially if I have to read Japanese, Romanji-based Japanese in an English sentence, that really throws me. I actually have to pause. It's like two different parts of my brain speak the two different languages independently, and they just don't cross over. And I think a lot of that's just because I just don't get enough practice. But it wasn't a very practical language given where I live. So, anyway, you wouldn't be surprised if Kazuha dies. They did hurt us before. I don't know. Who's Ray? Do I make the pun of Dottore? do I? Hold on. Where is I don't know if I can find this screenshot from the anime. There's a like this one shot of, oh yeah, here we go. Ray finds a cat. I think of this a lot because Wanderer is portrayed as a cat and Ray has like a billion clones. Anyway, I'm gonna not do this now. Okay, let's get back on track. Who would be Misato? Dude, you're kidding, right? Okay, hold on. You're probably not kidding. Let me show you something. What does that say? Take a look at this. Oops. And who is this? This is the guy that found Wanderer. This is the guy that took him in. Like, yes, he ended up, like, forging a closer relationship with Niwa afterwards, but Niwa is Kazuha's ancestor. Katsuragi was the guy who found him. What's her name? Misato Katsuragi. Like, you really want to go here? I forget that this conversation happened, like, 3 years ago when we first started getting Wanderer's story. I forget that happened forever ago, and I just like assume everyone knows this at this point. But it occurs to me that people have probably either forgotten or just never seen this because they weren't around back then for this. But anyway, no, this goes real deep. All right, this goes real deep. But yeah, so like this was a whole thing back then. But Niwa Hisahide, he's supposed to be Kazuha's ancestor here. I think a whole ass thing. Anyway. Misato XV, yeah. Thoughts on seeing what looks like dragon shades in the trailer? Oh yeah. I wanted to talk about those. Do you know where the timestamp is? Because, dear Lord, if I can remember where anything is. Dude, okay. Sidetracked, but the Matador Monotus are adorable, and I love them. That's all I wanted to say. I love them a lot. That's it. That's all I got. Oh. Sounds like some people need to watch your Wanderer analysis video again. That was ages ago, man. Oh my god, he's shaking his butt. I missed that the first time around. That's so funny. Is it near the end of the trailer? Okay. I'm going to just open the trailer in another thing because I think it's going to be easier to scrubby slide in like a 2-minute trailer than it is a 40-minute whatever. That's the events overview. Let's do, I think it's this one. I said we're near the end of it. So they're calling these sacred flame crystals, but I'm pretty sure those are pyrophosphorites. They look quite similar. All right, where are you, you sneaky thing? Those are the golden entreaties. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. Where did they go? I know they're here. They're probably on screen for like 2 seconds. I say 2 seconds. That would actually be quite a long time, given the speed of cuts on these trailers. Oh, no, there they are. Found them. Yep. There they are. Hello, you little sneaky thing. You sneaky little thing, you. Come here. Oh, too far. There they are. Look at him. Little baby Wux. Little baby Wux. Little baby Wux. Little... Okay, so I have a theory. Guys, I have a theory. You know how I was saying that, like, when it comes to dragons, they're they seem to be named a little bit more after weaponry? Or they seem to be leaning towards weaponry? You remember that? The whole sword thing? Well, I was thinking about how the Traveler, for example, is like like this supposed to be like the sword of reason or possess the sword of reason, based on that Arts and Croix quest. Like that was the whole descender thing. Like a descender can be the sword. I was thinking about that, and how the traveler seems to be absorbing dragon powers, or at least mimicking the abilities of the dragon sovereigns. Mimicking, like that's interesting. That they're technically considered a sword. And then I got thinking about who else I know is named after a sword in this game. And Dainsleif came to mind, being the Twilight Sword, and also Dainsleif being the name of a sword that cannot be resheathed until it kills its target. And then I was thinking about Surtology, who is the weapon of Surtur. And I started to wonder if the fact that Conria has puppet technology is indeed because they are like these little wuks, little spiritual things. What if the reason why they rot, right, in their bodies is because those aren't really their bodies, because maybe they're not actually, maybe they actually really do have some sort of synthetic or artificially made semi-bio bodies, kind of like Wanderer does. Because like Wanderer is mechanical. And if you went through in Version of Genesis and you actually read the text that was in the quest that you were supposed to compare between time loops or whatever, you'd know that when he was first made, he actually had joints that appeared like ball and socket joints, like you would see on a doll. But then like over time, they vanished. So I wondered if maybe the whole quote unquote purebred Conria thing isn't really a purebred thing so much as it is they just have very different bodies because they made their bodies because they might actually be dragons. Or like Lithin-based creatures who were once dragons kind of thing. Because like this. Isn't Dane's constellation also a black serpent? I don't know if it's a black serpent, but it's called Snake Ring. It's AI all over again, so Wanderer became a real boy. Yeah, I mean, technically. I mean, he's still mechanical, but like he becomes more human over time. My thought was maybe just like the curse actually like locks their immaterial form inside of those bodies of theirs. I wondered about that. But that is also like a vibe-based theory, okay? That's a vibe-based theory. There's not a whole lot to base that on other than, these little threads are a little suspicious. I tug on them, they don't really go anywhere, but they're still suspicious. They're sticking out a little bit too much. But yes, everything is dragons. Absolute everything dragons. What about half Conrians? Half Conrians turned into Hilichurls like regular Tavatians. So, like, I'm not saying they're, like, mechanical puppets, all of them. Like, there has to be some biologic component to them. But I do wonder if there is something a little bit more synthetic about them. The Kaya dragon theory is getting stronger by the day. I would say, like, more like a Kaya descendant of dragon theory is getting a bit more stronger by the day. And dude, we've got 2 artifact sets coming up. You guys, did they showed these? I don't remember where. Oh, there they are. We've got 2 sets here, which look like they're about to drop at least something of interest. I mean, this set looks just like it belongs to the captain, and this set looks just like it belongs to Skirk. You know? What about Vetterfalnir? He's Dane's brother? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing. Lore keepers, get your pens ready. Leave me alone. They taunt me. They taunt me. It's so rude. It's so rude. They're also on the preview website. Yeah. Ruin guards are considered alive after all. Yes. The top one looks like Columbina. Does it? I guess. I don't really associate red with her so much as pink, but that might be nitpicking on my part. I will say that, like, the little arrow parts here remind me more of Child than anybody else, but also neither here nor there. Also neither here nor there. Maybe I just have the captain on the brain because, you know, he's front of mind because of what we've just been through. Plus, it's called Long Night's Oath, and that's, you know, what he's pledged. He pledged an oath to the Lord of the Night forever. He got married. He got married in a chemical marriage. He's chemically married to a Siri. And then the finale of the Deep Galleries. Well, we have a finale of the Deep too. We like straight up have a finale of the Deep Sword. So what's up with this? This is about Remuria, yeah? I think so. Yeah. I still haven't done that recap thing. I want to know if these are actually Wahaklahun Ubakan ghosts or if these are like other dragonkin. That's what I want to know. That's what I'm curious to find out. I'm going to say Deshret, but I can connect this to Deshret in other ways. I mean, first off, look where we are. There are mushrooms everywhere. You know what that means? Shamaran! It's time for Shamaran! Who is what exactly? A serpent queen. Oh, wait. Yes! Ta-da! Here she is! You wanted to connect it to Deshret. Here we go! Here's your Persian serpent queen. Fungi, 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 fungi network. So yeah, I mean, it's a distinct possibility. It is. Fascinating. I am very intrigued by this, though. I'm very intrigued by this because it makes a rainbow, but it does kind of feel like this is like a transmutation pillar of sorts, where it's like taking up resources here and converting them into something else up at the top. You know what I mean? And it looks like it's going all the way up to the sky. Yeah. Also, if you really want to get technical, we could call these red stones more like the Trisherite, or whatever it's called. Trish, is it Tisherite or Trisherite? I forget. Trisherite. Trishirate. My bad. Yeah, this stuff. If you want to try and do that. See, look, there's a big transmutation circle. Hold on. I want to do the thing. Why do we explode it? Are we making it explode? Or are we just sending lots of energy at it? Such is the question. It does kind of look like there's a lot of abyssal corrosion on it, though. Maybe that's what this is for. So we've got 6 suns, or 6 stars. Dragon cordyceps. Yeah, we could be purging the abyss from it. That seems realistic. And then Durn again. Doesn't look like an explode. It might not. Okay, I want to talk about this. So, forever ago, when I was doing a world structure theory, I was really hung up on the wishing scene. You know, like when you first do a wish in Genshin, right? Because when you first do a wish in Genshin, like you get this portal of clouds, right? And then the star comes down from the center of the clouds, right? So I was really fixated on, oh, here we go. Here we go. I was really fixated on this whole thing. How it came down from the sky like that. Oops. Yeah, that's fine. And the reason was because let's see if I can, yeah, here we go. I had seen this one, the Gate of Heaven. Yeah, here we go. This is like one of those diagrams of like how we interpret the structure of the world to be in Abrahamic mythos. Not necessarily how they thought it really was, but just how we've interpreted what they wrote down. So if you look here, up at the top here, you've got heavens, which is represented by clouds, and then there's a gate of heaven that opens, and this big old hole in the sky, right? And these are the waters above the firmament. And you've got the firmament, and you've got the earth, and you've got the underground here. This is Conria down here in the Sheol, right? That's what this is supposed to be. So I was looking at this being like, hey, what if that is technically the Genshin wish screen? What if it is? What if that's what we're doing here? What if this is the gate of heaven and we're summoning constellations down from the gate of heaven? And if that's the case, flip that around a second and take a look here, and you've got the exact same thing, but in the opposite direction, right? Now we're diving down in there as if we're descending like a star into the center of this bizarre volcano world. Which is not what this is right here. Let's get past Varessa for a second. We get down back here. Okay, stop changing locations on me. That's so frustrating. Anyway. Flat Earth anti-vaxxer devs. I don't think that's quite what this is. I don't think they're actually working on a flat Earth model. They like science way too much for that. I think they may work on a flat Tivat model if only, like, this is all supposed to be underground, which is wild to me because what the heck? Right? Because this should be inside the volcano. Like, there's a whole ass world inside the volcano. With a sky and everything. And yeah, there are holes in it. Which means that this area was probably invaded at some point. But that's just like, it just feels like a, like they just went into hiding. A secondary fake sky, yeah. Where's all the lava? But that's what I'm saying, is there isn't any, right? Like when you go, this here, right? This up here, this is the top of the volcano. If you go to the top of the volcano, there's a portal here. There's not lava. And if you look as we get closer, and this is all kind of wibbly wobbly, watery kind of thing, which means this is like straight up a portal that you dive into, and then you end up underground, and you follow this lava that you just put in. Here's your underground temple or whatever. Raising the stars is gonna light all these thingies up. And as soon as it does, here's your underground world. Like right here, this is that window. That blue glassy window here, right? That you're looking through. You can see the iridescent inscriptions on it. Which means we're looking at like this whole world inside the volcano. Which makes it like the, which actually shouldn't surprise us that much because like this is very similar to Zhongli's little domains, right? Making those adeptal domains. Chat, what's the average duration of an Ashikai scream? About 3 hours. I don't know if I'll go that long this time, but I'm also not chat, but I'll answer your question anyway. Isn't that also how Enka was? No. I mean, Enka was behind a locked door, yes. However, it doesn't have a sky. Enkanomiya is underground, but it's not like in a subdomain. Because like if you look around, you can see the cave walls. Like it's surrounded by stone. There's no sky. It's a really big teapot. Exactly. Not 5 hours. 5 hours isn't my average. I've done a few 5-hour ones. I actually can't do a 5-hour one today because I need time to have a break because I'm doing another stream after this one for Zenless Zone Zero over on Josh's channel. His Twitch, actually. So I actually can't do a 5-hour one today, which is another reason why I wanted to do it today, because then I have to stop. Anyway, it could be a similar thing. It really could. That is possible. However, what this basically means is that Enkanomiya doesn't have a firmament, right? That's basically what this means. Although it is worth pointing out that to get here, you do have to fall through a watery portal. So there's that. I don't know if they have art for it or not. Probably not. I have to go to Watatsumi. Oops, wrong one. Oh, it's not going to show. Okay, well that's okay, I guess. But you guys know what I mean. You guys know what I'm talking about anyway. It's okay. It's okay. Sci-Fi Games, thank you for the super. I think I'm a little late getting back to this, but you said, I remember you saying the Sealies are like dragon serpents, and that makes Shamaran helping Irminsul quite fun collective conscious dragon spores. Yeah. Because, like, Shamaran is like the mycelial network, yeah? Mycelial network that supports a bunch of disparate trees. And the interesting thing that I think is that we actually have a few instances of dragon trees now, which I find fascinating. Because, like, we have Ajdaha, right? Because there's that, the tree that he's technically pinned under is supposed to be his tail, which still weirds me out because there's a cave in the back of it, which means that we're entering him through his butt, which I have mixed feelings about. And then there's the tree in Dragonspine, which is nourished with Durin's blood, basically. So that's 2 confirmed dragon trees. But then there's also Mautamiya. No, Mautiyima, my bad. That's my bad. They never specify that this is a dragon forest, but this is a fungal forest, and it's said to be sentient, which is interesting enough to me. But I'm starting to wonder if there are more trees that are, like, draconic. Because also, like, I don't know if you guys remember this, but in Remuria, when Remus went down to where Remuria is currently, he found Sibylla, who was a Seelie, or at least she was a very, like, what was left of a Seelie, basically. But she was guarding a silver tree at the time. So you had a Seelie. If I'm going to connect dragons and Seelies together, calling them similar life forms, maybe just one is a daytime life form, one is a nighttime life form. The Seelie is a nighttime life form around this silver tree, and she was guarding the silver tree, and as soon as he made a pact with her, the silver tree, like, turned into this giant ship. So, like, there is another instance of that, where she's, like, connected to this tree. And these little draconic life forms that are connected to these little trees. So now we've got like this series of like, I don't know, disconnected, semi-related to be dragon trees, seelie trees, non-human, non-corporeal entity trees, spirit trees, there we go. Supported by maybe a fungal network, like a ley line network, which I still think is fiber optic cables. Yeah. What do you think of the Hydra symbol resembling the three moon sister symbol? That's kind of what I'm talking about when I talk about there being like multiple different kinds of So when I say Seelies and dragons are like the same type of life forms, right? One of the reasons I say that is because several of the dragons are based off the designs of sea slugs or other aquatic life forms, but mostly it seems like sea slugs right now, although I can't really point to one that Shweequaddle is at the moment. He's kind of my outlier. The rest I can do pretty easily. But they're mostly based on sea slugs. And then, like, you've got the little melazines in Fontaine who are also based on sea slugs. And they were birthed from, you know, the primordial sea and an abyss dragon. So, like, dragons seem to be sea slugs. And then friggin' Seelies are also sea slugs. They're just a different kind of sea slugs. They're Cleones, right? So, like, I mean, you guys probably know this by now. Like, Seelies in Genshin look like this, which look weirdly similar to these things, right? And these are called sea angels, and Seelies are angels, like straight up. So I'm looking at them being like, you are both aquatic life forms, but like at different stages. So to me, I'm looking at Seelies going, I think you guys are associated with nighttime, with dreaming, with the moons, right? You are night dragons, in my opinion. And then I think dragons, because of their relationship to phlogiston and other things like that, feel more like daytime dragons, ones that flourish in the light, which would naturally make them sort of diametrically opposed to each other, but like still entities that are supposed to coexist, if that makes sense. And the sea is often the sky in Genshin. Yeah, but like even if you go that way, right? Like if we're gonna look at like the Abrahamic conception of the universe, take a look at like how this is actually looking at. You've got the great deep waters, and then you've got the upper seas or the waters above the firmament, and like the sky is almost always called like the sea of stars, or it's the Milky Way galaxy. It's a river in the sky, right? Like that's always referred to in watery terms. So I kind of think of it like that. It's not exactly the most clean explanation, but you kind of get where that's going. Was I the best student in school ever? I'm always blown away by how smart you are. This is not a measure of smartness. Not at all. I am let's call it a lateral thinker. I am someone who does better if I'm working in wide swaths rather than in narrow swaths. So I'm never going to be an expert in one thing, but I will know a fair bit about a lot of stuff, but I'll never specialize in like one particular thing. So no, I'm not the smartest kid in my school ever. I had decent grades, but I was not the smartest kid. Lots of different types of intelligence out there. The bullhorns in the Collective of Plenty look like the Homa symbol. Yeah. I don't think that's a mistake. I don't think that's a mistake at all. I mean, they are quite literally at the base of Homa capital, which is like, you know, the city of Tulin and the Tulin volcano. Do I think Paimon is the Welkin moon? Um, no. That no has a very large asterisk on it if you can't hear it. So there's a very large asterisk on that. Um, I'm not entirely sure what I think Paimon is, but I have a lot of ideas of what she could be. But um I kind of feel like I don't feel like Paimon is a moon sister, but I feel like she's, if anything, a fragment of one. One interesting thing about dragons, right? This is related, I promise. One interesting thing about dragons is that because they tend to grow to be body agnostic at some point, or at least the sentient ones do, the ones that aren't bishops or saurians at this point. They're quite body agnostic, which means that they're kind of like spiritual creatures, right? But it also means that they function a little bit like oceanids. And oceanids can fuse with other oceanids, and they sort of become greater and greater entities as they. If you hear a weird noise, that's my heater turning on. Where was I going with this? Oh, so oceanids can sort of fuse their consciousnesses, and they can also split into smaller consciousnesses, right? And dragons kind of operate on the same thing. Um, no, Fenris, it's just the heater. Honey, it's just the heater, honey. I know. I know you don't like it. I know. I know. It's okay. It's just the heater. Oh my god. Finny, come on, honey. Right, so what I was saying, Okay, so if I'm assuming that dragons and Sealies are similar, which I do think they are, especially since Oceanids look a lot like Sealies, then I must assume that they have a similar ability, or similar behavior in the way that they're structured. And so I wonder if Sealies actually shoot, which book is this? I think it's this one. So if dragons can fuse and merge together at will, you have to think that Sealies can do the same thing. And if Sealies are related to moon sisters, then you kind of have to assume that the moons can do the same thing. And while we know the moons had a physical form, right? Like you could actually physically shatter the moon, I feel like there must have been a spirit or another sort of form that the people who lived in or on the moon or who controlled the moon took, right? So if you are a moon sister, you're probably not the moon itself, but you're probably the embodiment of the moon. I kind of think of it like Nahida, right? Like she is not Irminsul, but she's sort of the embodiment of Irminsul. So the two are like inextricably linked, and if anything happens to Irminsul, she's kind of cooked, but she's also not Irminsul. So that's kind of how I think about the moons versus like the moon sister. I kind of think of them that way. And I think that they work similarly to Sealies. I don't think, maybe it's not this one. Hold on. Oh, stop it, you two. I might have to turn the heat up so it doesn't do that. Okay, and maybe it's not this one. Okay, well, I gotta figure out. No, Fenris, stop it. She gets freaked out because if the heater stays off for a while, the fan gets a little bit unbalanced and then it makes really weird noises, and then she just like does not like those noises. It'll go away after a little bit, but it still freaks her out. And so she's like clawing at me. She's crawling into my chair. Fenris is my dog, for those of you who don't know. She's one of my doggies. And she's basically a cat, but a very large cat that is actually a dog. Okay, so there is a book in Leeway, and I forget which one it is. Maybe one of you guys remember it. But essentially it was talking about the Seelies and how they used to wander Wuwang Hill. Oh, maybe it is in here and I'm just crazy. But it said that the Seelies shattered into many pieces. So I was wondering if the Moon Sisters at some point shattered not just the physical moon, but also their bodies. So in the case of Seelies, maybe a Seelie would have taken a much bigger, greater sentient form, and then maybe their bodies got shattered, and then they formed these little individual, ghostly, fragmented forms, right? I'm trying to think where this... Maybe it is Records of Joyoung. Huh, I guess it might have been this one. Nope. It's not this one. I'll find it eventually. I don't remember which one it is. I'll find it. So I think when it comes to Paimon, the way I see Paimon is it makes sense to me if she is a fragment of one of the moons or the Moon Sisters. That makes sense to me. Especially because like there's hints that there could be more than one of them. And I don't know if they're like trying to be facetious when they do that or if it's like actually like a real thing. I didn't remember the theory behind Paimon. Okay, listen. If you want to go down that route, when I was doing the Men of Lithen thing, when I was talking about the Azamon connection, I was thinking about the algorithm of semi-intransient matrix of overseer network. You know, the thing in the desert, right? The reason I didn't leave it in the video though, was because that pun is only present in English, and I don't know if it's like localization having fun or if they're actually wanting us to nod at that. But just based on the context of the Overseer Network and how like that was kind of what Asimov wrote Harry Seldon to have in the Time Vault that he made, I did wonder if Paimon, the acronym Paimon, might actually be referencing the little holographic projections that are supposed to come out every time a big cataclysmic event happens, and you know, sort of try to keep humanity on track. Because that's what the holograms from, you know, Harry Seldon's Time Vault were supposed to do. But she could just as, but that's the Paimon theory, the acronym theory. Like if she's part of a network, that was kind of that theory. But if she's like a fragment of the moon that shattered, and she just happens to be like the one that happened to survive, then I think it's possible to like recreate a whole new moon from her. But I don't necessarily know that she is a moon as such right now. Like I don't know if I'd call her that. Anyway, Moonpiercer has some sisters lore with the wording 2 moon wheels shattered into dust and disappeared, and they do seem to roll and move like wheels in the web event site. Yeah. Oh, that reminds me. We were talking Simulanka before. We were talking about Simulanka, and then I got distracted. Hold on. Let's go back in here. She could be both? Yeah, I mean, she could be both. Kind of like Shorekeeper from Wuwa? No, Shorekeeper's awful. I'll get a lot of flack for saying that. I don't like her. I'll get a lot of flack for saying that, actually. Chuck pointed this out, that in Simulanka we had a music box up here of Barbeleth that had stopped turning. which is fun. That's fun. How is she awful? I think she's an awful character. Like, I think she's horribly written. To be fair, though, I hate that entire arc. Like, I think it's one of the worst arcs Wuwa wrote. And in fairness to them, I'm not trying to hate on the game. Renacita, from my understanding, has come a long way and is actually, like, quite good. So it's just more like they had a rocky start, but, like, everything else is, like, for me, passable, but I hated the shorekeeper and her story so much. But that's mine. It's so inconsistent. It's so inconsistent. And it contradicts itself like 15 times, and she makes zero sense. And if they were gonna do that arc, they should have done it in a year from now. So it just makes me angry from a narrative perspective. But anyway, I digress. I also don't like her outfit, which probably doesn't help. But that's like a subjective thing. You know, everyone's taste is a little bit different. Anywho, like I was saying, that's so opposite of the community. It's so interesting. I mean, if the community wants to defend the fact that the characters literally contradict themselves multiple times within an hour, they're welcome to it. If they enjoyed it, great, that's fine. I just don't like it when games talk down to me. Which is what that entire arc felt like. But again, like, that is my least favorite arc in that whole game right now. There's many, 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 many other parts of that game that are actually quite good. So I'm not, hating on the game in general. I just friggin' hate that arc in particular. Just that one. Anyway. Blackshore came way too soon. Yeah, it was underbaked. I think it would have been better if they waited a while and then done it. And then they'd have their better writers on the team. Yeah, I said it. 1.x was not very good. 2.x is a lot better. Okay, off topic. What I was trying to say was in Simulanka, we had this music box that had stopped turning. And here is one of the 3 sisters of Simulanka. Because, if you're in a coven, the other witches that you're in a coven with are technically your sisters. So here we have 3 sisters, witch sisters, who are going to definitely be the moon sisters here. One of them stopped turning. Yeah. So I think Simulanka has been a lot more on the nose than we thought with a lot of stuff. Like, we straight up had Durin. We just straight up had Durin. We are definitely have the dragon references throughout. We've got the music box references with the moons turning. Look, the stars are turning again. Things are starting to move. Those were stopped for a while. We had the stuff with the ancient names. One person pointed out... Oh, I forgot who it was. One person pointed out that the captain is currently trapped in his chair, in his throne, right? Because he's bonded to the Lord of the Night now. So he's kind of stuck in that throne forever. There is a scene in Simulanka where we sat down on the chair that was full of glue and got stuck for a while. So, like, there's a lot of little things in Simulanka that are way too on the nose. Way too on the nose. So, I feel like what I kind of want to do is go back through Simulanka and just do a comparison of everything that happened in that quest and what its equivalent was in Natlan. Because, yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man. NLBV 5000, thank you for the super. Can't catch this live, but here's a crack theory. HW will do a reverse Arthas with Capitano. And do you think you will slow down YouTube after Genshin ends? I'll retire after Genshin ends, actually. So yes. I said I'd go up through Conria and then I'd probably be done. I'll have done this for a long time at that point. I don't know what HW is. And I don't know what Arthas is. I'm sure there's someone who knows what that means, though. I'm sure there's someone who knows what that means. Shall we bet on what? Well, I can't do this forever. Arthas is from Warcraft. Oh, I don't know anything about Warcraft. I know zero things. What about Zenless? Zenless is the one game I'll probably keep playing in my spare time. But like on my own. It's possible that I might do some lore streams and stuff after that, but I'll be retired from doing videos at that point. So we've got maybe 2.5 years left, something like that. You can still do it on the side. I never, ever, ever want to do 2 full-time jobs at the same time ever again. Never. I did that for like several years on YouTube, and it damn near killed me, and I'm not doing it again. I'm just not. I'm just not, man. Where will I go? There's a massive lore drop. I mean, if Genshin's over, like, they're gonna do a part 2, and then it's like a question of, are you even gonna keep playing in part 2, right? Because they did that with Honkai Impact. They had Honkai Impact, and it was around for many, many years, and they went through all the way up through part 1. They finished that story, and they basically retired those characters and stuff. Oh, metaphorically speaking. You can still play them, obviously. And then they went on to part 2, which was featured an entirely new cast. It went to entirely new lands, new worlds, new planets, all that kind of stuff. Whole new antagonists and whatnot. And, you know, it's basically a different game for the most part. Kiana is in chapter 2. I'm not saying like they just deleted all of their characters. I'm saying like they stopped being the focus. Like Kiana isn't the focus anymore. She's not the main character of part 2. What if Genshin continues on to a second game? I don't even know if I'd want to play it. Like all good things have to come to an end. That's what makes them good. Like if things don't end, then they just get tired. You know? Like, what if you guys don't like the next iteration of Genshin? What if you don't like Genshin 2? What if it's not for you? What if it's more sci-fi? What if it takes place on another planet? What if you have to play as Paimon? Right? Like, there's a lot of open-ended questions. So, like, it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know. I'll have done this for, like, 6 years at that point. That's a long time. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, like the metrics on earnings from YouTube in this genre are fickle. And I would argue that they're not going up, and I don't think they would continue to go up. I mean, like, best case scenario, they would probably plateau. And the thing is, if you're gonna do it as a job or as like a focus where you do things regularly, it has to be worth your time. You don't have to get rich off it, but it has to be worth your time, right? That you put into it. And I think that, you know, every game has a life cycle, and this one's gonna hit its life cycle at some point, and being able to earn enough to make this worthwhile, that's not going to last forever. We're already starting to see that go down across the board. So I would say that that time has peaked, which is kind of why you don't see a lot of up and comers in this space anymore. I also think this is a really difficult space to get into because like the bigger and deeper the lore you go, the harder it is for people to enter. So I think once Genshin reaches its pinnacle, and it moves on to like part 2, if they do that, which I'm pretty sure they will. I don't know why they'd let this die. Um, then I think there'll be like a whole new whole new slew of lore enthusiasts and theorists that'll come up and try their hands at things, and you'll find new favorites. That's kind of how this rolls. So I'm not considering branching out into fun ZZZ lore videos. I like Zenless Zone Zero a lot. And I will continue to play it even after Genshin ends. Will I make content for it? Probably not. Because, for one, it's actually a slightly difficult game to theorize a lot for, because it doesn't give you a ton to work with. So that makes it tricky. But on the other hand, like, there's just not a lot of demand for it. And again, like, if you're gonna do this with any sort of seriousness, it has to be worth your time. And Zenless is very difficult to make a priority because of that, which is unfortunate. I am still going to make Zenless content for a while as the mood suits me, but like, will I switch to being a full-time Zenless creator? No. But yeah, that's kind of the TLDR on that. That was actually kind of a long TLDR, but ZZZ lore is more about the characters, not the world IMO. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is like, it's easier to theorize about a world than it is about the characters. I think it's easier to do like lore about characters, or like, here's things you missed, or story analysis breakdowns or character analysis and stuff like that. Like, you can still do stuff like that, and I think it's pretty fun, but I don't really know if many people are interested in that. And like I said, it has to be worth the time, because these things take a lot of time. I'm not able to crank out little snippets. It's just not how I operate. Being a content creator seems hard. A lot of things to think about and consider. Yeah, I mean, it's as hard as you want it to be, and it's as difficult as you kind of set your own standards, really. Like, I take days to research and write a script, and I take a full day to process audio for it. I mean, recording, balancing, timing, getting background audio and stuff in there, and then it can take me multiple days to edit. So, I mean, even if you had an infinite number of ideas, like, there's a cap on how much you can do in a short period of time, you know? When I have an hour-long video, for example, if I edit at like 3 minutes worth of footage per hour, because my speed is anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes per hour, depending on what I'm editing, it still takes me multiple full days of just sitting in front of a computer, editing a video and listening to myself for days. So sick of listening to myself. But then, like, but on top of that, like, you need to have ideas, and you need to be able to test those ideas, and then you need to be able to go and find all the little bits and interesting pieces of evidence to back it up. And like, one of the reasons why channels like Game Theory are able to work so well is because they have such a wide demographic, because they like to pick like a very broad genre, that they can afford to have multiple people working on different scripts and different games at the same time, right? But even if I'm doing a recap, like I just sat down to do the recap for Amphorius, for 3.1. That quest is almost 8 hours long, which means I had to spend a whole day playing it, and then I had to spend at least a whole day going through all of the footage and writing it at the same time. Actually, that took me 3 days. And that's just a recap, right? And then I have like a 30-minute video I've got to smooth out the edges for. I've got to revise it, make sure everything sounds right, fact check, make sure I understood things correctly. And as you know, I don't always get everything right. That's kind of just par for the course. And then I got to do the voiceover for it, and then I've got to clean that up, and then I got to put that into a thing, and then I got to edit the whole damn thing, and then I got to make the thumbnail and the description and everything else, and I got to get, like it's just like a whole mess of stuff. It takes a long time. So, do I enjoy 3.0 and 3.1? I'm considering dropping HSR, not a fan. I like Amphorius comparatively to all of the other arcs that Star Rail has done. I think it's one of the more cohesive stories they've told. That's also still quite large in scope. So yeah, I'm having fun with it. I'm not the biggest fan of like the battle systems and stuff, but the thing is, once you decide that you don't care about endgame, shit gets a lot easier. Like, if you don't care about getting all of the stars in Memory of Chaos, or like maxing out Apocalyptic Shadow, or getting all of the levels in Pure Fiction, then like you just play it a couple times a month for the story, and then you just auto battle your stamina every day to get the free daily Primo Gems, or free Jades, sorry. And it's actually a pretty easy game to keep up with. So if you're enjoying the story, then like it's very easy to kind of like chill with it, I think. So long as you stop caring about endgame. Once you care about endgame, things get more complicated. But I also feel the same way about Zenless, and I feel the same way about Genshin. Like if there just so happens to be a time where I don't have time to sit down and try to go through and get all my stars in Abyss, then I'm just not going to. You got to allow yourself some freedom there. Like, games are meant to be fun, and if you're not having fun with them, then, go do what makes you happy. I like running around and finding things and like, I don't know. The power creep or stuff. Yeah, but power creep doesn't matter if you don't play endgame. See, that's where you're thinking. That's where we that's where you big brain it. HSR's endgame is so meta-oriented, and given that it's turn-based, especially then if you don't like grinding, and I don't feel like you want to bother. Yeah. I mean, like, it's basically that, right? Like, I know people who play Genshin who don't even touch endgame at all, and who won't even up their world level because they like the game as difficult as they currently have it. They don't really want it to go any higher. And I think that's fine. I think that's absolutely fine. I think you should play games in ways that make you happy. So. Canonless, thank you for this super. You have a good voice. No can't accept our affection. Thank you. It's still annoying to listen to when you do it for like 48 hours straight. It even if you have a nice voice or a voice you like, it gets on your nerves. I get real sick of listening to me. So then I just don't talk for like a day and a half after that. But yeah, you guys get the idea. Just play who makes you happy, play what makes you happy, do the stuff that makes you happy. Like in Zenless, I like doing all the little quests. I like doing trust events. I like running around and talking to people. And I do like combat and exploring hollows and stuff like that. But I don't necessarily like Deadly Assault, right? Like, I don't try hard to get the full 9 stars on Deadly Assault. I'm not doing that. I'll do the challenge runs for Nineveh or Geppetto, but I'm not doing the other stuff because I just can't be bothered to optimize my runs to that degree. I'm not going to do it. It just won't. Like, I love Zenless's mini games. I really, really liked the Bang Boo Fall Guys. I liked the fishing mini game. It was weirdly addictive, even though it was super simple and super stupid. But like that kind of stuff keeps you interesting. Speak into a paper cup and you'll hear a different voice. Will you? Will you, though? I'm also playing all 3 games. Most people like me can only handle at max 2. Yeah, that's the other thing that's been really hard is I have a limited amount of time, and like it would have been okay or would have been easier. I just realized there was a whole TCG section I totally forgot about. Wow. I forgot this happened. At the rate Genshin was releasing lore, it was totally feasible to do 3 games and think about doing at least 1 theory per game per patch, with like a flex slot to do a 4th on whatever I felt I wanted to do. Change it up a bit. And then Genshin was like, yeah, we're gonna crank up the lore from like a 3 to an 8. Have fun. And I'm like, thanks. A lot. You're playing 7 gacha games regularly? Dude, do you need to have an intervention? Are you okay? Are you good? Oh boy. I can't even imagine. I can't do that. That's insane. That's way too many. And the thing is like at some point, I always like having at least like 1 live service game that I'm like keeping up with, right? Because it's nice to have something to look forward to. It's nice to have a little thing that you kind of pick up and play for like 10, 15 minutes or so every other day or every day or something like that. Just to like have a little something, It's kind of like how I don't know if this was the case with you, but like with my grandparents and some of my parents, I have 4 parents, don't ask. With some of my parents, they had like their daily TV shows. Like for my dad, it was always Jeopardy. He'd always watch Jeopardy every day. Every day. And for my grandma, it was General Hospital, which is soap opera. She watched every episode of General Hospital, and it had a new episode every single day. So like for me, live service games are like kind of like my daily soap opera or game show. So I was like having one, but I like to have enough time to go play an actual game that's not live service. And if you're playing too many live service, you don't have any time for actual games. So, used to love watching your parents' soap operas. They're addicting, like in a really weird way. Like it's like a train wreck. Like you're watching this horrible, horrible drama, but you can't look away because it's so bad. You would like if I had less time for actual games. He's only upset about that because I'm beating him in a race to beat this other game. You play ZZZ, Wuwa, Genshin, and HSR, but my Wuwa and ZZZ are very behind, even more casual than Genshin and HSR. Yeah, I mean, I feel like everyone's got like the one game that's like their main game, and then they have like a sub game, and then they might have some other auxiliary games. It's kind of a shame. I really did want to play Wuwa for 2.x, but I don't have the capacity. I really wanted to go through that myself, but I kind of have to just watch the gameplay instead because I don't have time to do it myself. I have to multitask or else I get nothing done. HSR has become your main game. That makes sense. Yeah. I don't know if we have anything else to go through for here though. This has turned into like just a general Q&A and not a Q&A about the stream, even though I was like going through here. I guess I went really hard on the moon stuff and everyone just kind of fizzled out after that. Which is, you know what? Fair enough. This tribe looks ridiculous. The Wuwa world is so pretty traverse, though. It is, but man, it's gonna come up against some hard competition because I'll tell you, Infinity Nikki is also very, very pretty, and their Infold as a company is just killing it. Recently, like if you're looking at like the live service companies, up and coming, it's Infold. They're nailing, they're nailing that. They've got a couple of actually. If I may go off topic for a second. Um, yeah, Ballad of Antara. Yeah. This is the one that I think is coming out soon. Hold on. I know this is like off subject. We're not really gonna listen to it, but this is another thing that Infold's putting out, which is like a friggin' Dark Souls looking game, which is like insane. I don't even know if this is like a live service or not. But like they're straight up making a Dark Souls game. So like you look at Infinity Nikki, you're like, oh yeah, cute little dress up game. People, you know, gotcha for clothes or whatever. And then you look at their other titles and it's like friggin' this, which is insane to me. Like this game looks pretty stellar, honestly. Um, so I don't know, man. This is the same studio. Yeah. Same studio. Lore of Nikki is Dark Souls like? It is. Like it has a very childish story on the surface, but then like the lore is actually very Genshin like in the sense that it's like very Dark Souls like. It's very Genshin like in the fact that it's very Dark Souls like. I realize the absurdity of my statement as I say it. But anyway, you get the idea, right? Like I think Infold is the company to watch right now. I really do. Yeah, they do Love and Deep Space as well. You're right. What in the enconomia is this? Yeah. Now again, I don't know if Antara is actually. I should look it up. Is Antara? I don't know if this is a live service or like an actual standalone game. Was that a cat mount? Yes, it was. Is this gonna load or no? Nikki is so funny. It's colorful Dark Souls. Genshin is colorful Elden Ring. All things in balance. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I like it. This is not helpful to me. It's like straight up not helpful to me. Okay. Okay. I hate those websites. I hate them so much. Free-to-play action RPG Ballad of Antara. Okay, I'll take that as it's a live service game. Yeah, definitely gonna be a live service game. Anyway, my point stands. I went way off topic. I'm sorry. Infold is a publisher, not the actual developer. Oh, that's true. That's true. Still, though. Infold's got a pretty impressive portfolio, all the same. Although, one thing I will say, even though they're not, it may not be the same team, and actually, I doubt it's the same team. I don't know if any of you have actually zoomed in on any of Nikki's, like, clothing or whatever, but you can see, like, every individual thread of those clothes. Like, they are high-end renders. Just saying. Canonless, thanks again for the super no Deshret and Natlan lore review. Everything is Deshret, you know that. We've got a Sino solid state drive. So there's that. Give it time, give it time. We'll have plenty of Deshret talk. Don't worry. He'll be here. But I think we'll have a lot of other things to focus on first. Omar, thank you for the super as well. I don't know if you wanted to say anything and didn't manage to. If you did, you can go ahead and reply to your own super. I'll be able to track the replies and see if you had a question. The SSD is full of bad puns. It's a deserty sort of thing. It's a deserty thing. It's all that matters. You just want moon lore. So curious they're dragon tech. Do I like horror games? I like some horror games. The texture of Niki's clothes is phenomenal. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it's a weirdly high def game for what it is. My partner's having a lot of fun with Nikki. He hates waifu collector games. That is one of the nice things about Nikki is that you're actually collecting skins. Which does feel less, how do I put this? I don't know, I guess it makes it feel like the characters can matter a little bit more because like, their playable status or whatnot isn't really tied to the gacha system, which is nice. Can't wait for the Deshret auto chats. Listen, I've told you guys about the. You guys remember how I was talking about the peacock in the sky, kind of thing? Now Vetterfulnir is supposed to be like a rooster in the sky on the top of a great tree, kind of thing. Roosters are related to pheasants, are related to peacocks, are related to other birds of paradise. And how like peacock is related to oops. It's not really what I meant to do, but so this is Sue. Right? This is the guy that we're kind of talking about. He's related to the peacock. This is where Al-Haytham gets his peacock-ish imagery from. Say hi, Dad. Hi, Dad. The thing about Sue is that he's also who this guy is based off of. And this guy is also got similar Al-Haytham peacocky sorts of so annoying that it makes me keep clicking. Stop it. He's got the Al-Haytham vibes because Al-Haytham is based off of Sue, and so is Anaxa. But the funny thing about Anaxa and Sue, well, Sue specifically, is that Sue is actually the ancestor of the Apocalypse family. And the Apocalypse family has this very notorious guy named Apocalypse, who is basically the one I equate with Deshret. And okay, I have to show you guys something really funny though, okay? I have to show you guys something really, 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 really funny. You see how Otto here has the blonde hair and the green eyes, right? You guys see that? Okay, well, I've long since said that, I've long since said that Genshin's Otto is actually Kaveh, which is one of the reasons why I say that Deshret is like what you get if you put Kaveh and Al-Haytham in a blender. And Kaveh is this blondie with the red eyes, okay? Well, Zenless just released a character named Hugo, who is this character, vampire, with blonde hair, one green eye, and one red eye, and he is just as much a menace as all of the rest. And he's also based on a mockingbird's sun and moon metaphors. You get the whole picture. He's also like a vampire for the most part, which I think is hysterical because Anaxa is undead. He's actually been revived from the dead. And there's kind of some Zenless spoilers in this shot, which I don't really want to get into. But the thing about Kaveh is that Kaveh is very much into alcohol, yes. And the thing is in Genshin that alcohol is sort of equated with wine and blood, which sort of makes it like a blood drinking sort of thing. If you're drinking alcohol, you're drinking the blood of Christ sort of thing. So the fact that he's a vampire and this whole thing just feels very on point. I'm not saying that he's actually connected, but I just think it's really funny that Zenless now has their own auto equivalent, even though there's not like a direct connection. It just makes me so funny. It's just so funny to me. Anyway, there's that. I think that's hilarious. But yeah. So, what was I saying? Yeah. I was basically saying that, I see the whole metaphor of like Kaveh and Alhaitham living in the same house as sort of like a metaphor for the house being Deshret, and there's like the rational head, logical side, and then there's the irrational heart side, and they kind of have to learn to coexist. And they're sort of like stuck in the house together. That's kind of how I view it. But I think it's funny because technically, you know, Alhaitham is sort of based off of Su, who is the ancestor to Otto, who Kaveh is based off of. And it's just the circle of life. I find it funny. I wasn't really going anywhere with that beyond peacocks, because again, Kaveh's constellation is a bird of paradise. Similar thing. I'm saying blonde equals sus in a Hoyo game? Yes, always. Why are none of the Tevat AA members healers? This family tree is weird. Okay, I don't actually know that Su has a bloodline that led to Auto Apocalypse, but Su was the like precursor to the Apocalypse family. I don't know if that's actually like a bloodline or anything. As far as I know, Su never married or had kids or whatnot. But like the Apocalypse family was founded by a Buddha, so they say, and Su was supposed to be the Buddha. Now, technically, Vita is the female version of Su from another universe or another reality, and she is so peacock coded it's not even debatable. It's just not debatable. It's just like right there. It's basically the ginger meme, but with blondes, I guess. So the reason why this is funny to me, I can't remember. Oh, it's not called a stigmata, is it? It's called, what are they called? I forget what they're called. They're these. Oh, yeah, okay. Here's the theory about it. So the theory was that I'm looking at this thing here. So this is Kevin's symbol. He's the founder of the Kaslana bloodline, and here's the sigil for the crest for the Kaslana bloodline. And you look over here, here's the Skariac bloodline symbol, and then here's Alicia's symbol, which has a moon on it. And then here we have the Apocalypse family symbol, and then here's Su's little symbol right here. And you get it. It's the same thing. Signets! Yes! Oh, I keep calling them stigmatas. They're not stigmatas, and I know that, but signets. Yes. Anyway, this was kind of like the part that started it all, because you start to look into this and you're just like, oh, a lot more stuff makes sense now. Here, the one thing that I think is really funny about this, though, is that like the full symbol for the Apocalypse family has a Homa in it. I led you all down this wild goose chase just so I could do this. And he did sacrifice himself to the tree. And the best part of this is, to me anyway, is that Sue has the symbol with the Bodhi leaf, right? Because he's supposed to be a Buddha. You got the Bodhi leaf. Well, the funny part of this to me is that Teresa and Nahida are actually, this is a pretty good comparison. So if you think of Rugadavada as Colin and you think of Teresa as Nahida, then the relationship between the Deshret here and Nahida makes more sense because she is the one who's going to carry on the duty of the apocalypse family here. And she's got the whole Bodhi leaf booty. She's got the Bodhi leaf right on her chest with the little heart. There it is. They're too clever with their symbolism. I don't like it. Anyway, I think it's funny. I think it's funny. That's all I have. Yeah, and Deshret did sacrifice himself to the imaginary tree to change time. So he vanished from the timeline at some point. And so did Deshret. Deshret and Nebumalikata were out to take on heavens. One could call that an apocalypse. Apocalypse as a word actually means like revelation, which is kind of funny to me. Because if you think about what we consider to be an apocalypse, that's not what the word originally meant, which I think is very odd, but also kind of cool. Saw someone call them lazy and copy pasters for doing this in every game. I mean, I think there's an argument to be made for that. But it also just depends on I think it depends on how you view things. Because, like, if I was to look at The Legend of Zelda, for example, and be like, oh my god, Nintendo's so lazy. They just keep copy and pasting this Triforce symbol everywhere. Like, is that actually copy and pasting lazy? Or is that, like, you know, recurring themes and symbols throughout the game to make it feel more unified? Because that's actually more what Hoyo's doing. But I digress. The Book of Revelations is called the Book of Apocalypsis in Romanian. Yeah. There's stuff like that a lot. There's a lot of stuff like that. I went and Yoda'd that sentence. Where are they getting these giant shrimp from? Was Monet a copy-paster for painting water lilies a bunch of times? His consciousness is definitely baked, though. Apep ate that? No, Apep ate his body. He separated his body and mind. Apep ate his body, not his mind. In Zelda 1, definitely copy-paste. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough on that one. Speaking about Honkai, Impact, in their drip marketing, the MC is introduced to Tevat by KK, so maybe Kaslana family is in Genshin too. Yeah, it's possible. I mean, if anything, the Sustainer of Heavenly Principles does look a lot like the Hersher of the Void, who is a Kaslana. Well, kind of. Kind of. Kind of. The game originally had a Kate Kaslana as a playable character before it was changed to the twins. Yes, it does. I don't really consider that a leak. So if you guys consider beta stuff to be leakage, don't look for a minute. I don't consider it to be a leak. But this was Kate Kaslana. I don't know if she was ever meant to be something beyond a placeholder character or a very, very, very early concept for something that never came to pass. But this was... that was her. Anby? Looks like someone from Nier. There are a lot of early Genshin characters that use animations from Nier, so that's not a surprise. Kaching and Noelle especially use animations that are from Nier Automata, so that's not uncommon. Um, what was I gonna say? What was I thinking about recently that was very Nier Automata too? There was something Genshin related, and I can't remember what it was. Something androids on the moon. You didn't know that about the Nier animations? I could go look for them. Do I want to go look for them? I mean, I could. Was it about if real humans were on the moon? I don't remember. I literally don't remember. The old MC looks like they're straight out of the Xenosaga? Yeah. I can see it. The human server is on the moon, which, by the way, was confirmed to be where the Nier Reincarnation mobile game took place. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't play Nier Reincarnation. I don't know anything about it beyond that it was a mobile game and that I don't know that it did that well because it got shut down. That's all I know. Canonless, thank you again for your super. Any new explanation or connection for Arlecchino's Bale Moon curse now that we've met a shade or a death and her rules? No, I actually think I still subscribe to the initial theory that I had, where I was likening Arlecchino to a Nephilim. I still subscribe more to that theory. Because, like, it makes sense to me for her to just be like an agent of the moon, if that makes sense, because some of the I would argue that some of the followers of the Crimson Moon dynasty were likely either blessed by the moon or took on powers of the moon, or if you want to go this route, is it Moonpiercer that has this in it, or is it the other one? It might be the other one. Oh, it's not how you spell dust. Oh no, it is this one. This is an exact. So we know that at least one of the moons sank into the earth or beneath the sea or something like that, and it turned crimson. We know there was a crimson moon in Conria. We know that it was part of the Crimson Moon dynasty. And this Moonpiercer was a story about the fall of the moons. And this is the one that says, like, the two moon wheels shattered into dust and disappeared. The sisters were overcome with sorrow, blah, 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 blah. And then at the very end, it says, where the dust of the moons fell, the Neelit Pala lotuses bloomed. And those children who breathe in the dust will have a pearl-like moon in their hearts. Which is, to me, kind of, again, like a vision. But I digressed. But just like being able to breathe in the dust or like be in the vicinity of the crimson moon may have like sort of like a not even a radiation effect, but like some other kind of similar you're too close to this so you absorb its power kind of thing. That's kind of how I interpret it with Arlecchino. But no, I still I think where I was at is still where I'm at with her. I think we're gonna need more Conria lore to change my stance on that. But I will point out one other thing. Oops. My bad. I will point out that This black/reddish moon from Evangelion is the egg of Lilith, which is also stored underground. And Arlecchino has a lot in common with the demon Lilith. So, you know, she's opening the doors of Guff. If you don't know what the doors of Guff are, those are like, that's like a gateway to the, like a repository of soul. If I remember correctly. Yeah. The Guff is a treasury of souls located in the seventh heaven. So if you think of it that way, if you think of Arlecchino as also being like that repository that keeps all the after images of the people who she's witnessed the deaths of and stuff like that, this becomes quite interesting, especially if you compare her to Capitano, who also turned himself into a repository for souls. So, again, feeling very Evangelion to me still. Still feeling very Evangelion to me. Omar, thanks again for the super. Oops. Will Snezhnaya have Eastern European inspiration, and is a Tsaritsa split from Celestia inspired by the Great Schism? I don't know. Will it have Eastern European inspiration? Probably yes. In fact, I think it's going to have a lot of additional European influence, not just Eastern European. I would, okay, so I do think that Hoyo's going to try and go as hard into the pre-Christianization of Russian and Eastern European history as they can for a lot of their inspiration. But I think it's kind of inevitable that they won't be able to go as deep as they'd like in there, if only because a lot of that's been erased. But definitely Eastern European. But a friend of mine pointed out that Nod Cry might actually be referring to Finland. So I think the scope of Snezhnaya might be quite a bit larger than a lot of people will assume. I don't think it's just going to be Russia. I think they're going to do quite a bit more than just that. We'll get Finland and Genshin before GTA 6. Yeah. Combining Finland with Russia is a dangerous choice. They're not combining it necessarily. What did she say? I forget what the words mean. Yeah. Okay. I think it's because in this case they're talking about like a Nordic territory of Snezhnaya, which I think historically one of them was Finland, and that seems to make the most sense. It's just referencing, isn't it? Yeah. I don't think they're gonna like mix a lot of things. They're trying to split Snezhnaya into a few different delineations. But the thing is like they've mixed a lot of other more controversial things than that. So I'm not, you know. And it's also in the context of like in a historical context, which doesn't make it necessarily better, but it does change some of the how do I put this? It does change some of the context and the nature of the relationships, I think. Would include more Vikings lore? Probably. That's actually one of the reasons why I wondered if Dornman Port might be closer to Nod Cry and why we might get it early on into 6.0 or like 6.1, 6.2. Oh, that's true. Sampo Koski is a Finnish name, isn't it? Oh, because Sampo is named after yeah, Sampo's named after this thing. Okay, that makes sense. So there you go. You've got the precedent for it. They've already done it once. Yeah. If you get a Sampo and not cry, you'll be very happy. That's the thing, though. They've got a lot of Harbingers to go. I feel like most of the playables in Shnezhnaya are going to be Harbingers. I mean, I expect at least one more Harbinger to die and not be playable. But, I mean, I assume most of them will be. So I don't know how many, like, never before seen characters are really going to get, but because we've only got 3 playables right now. And like, even if you assume that the captain will eventually be playable, which I'm still 50-50 on. Like, I've seen some compelling stuff, but like, I'm still kind of dubious about it, but I don't know. I don't really have a strong opinion one way or another. I've seen arguments that the fact that he's got, most likely got the constellation that represents the 3 nails that Jesus was nailed to the cross with, like the passion nails, that he'll resurrect himself and become playable that way, which is a distinct possibility. But I don't know if or when Hoyo would do that. So, but even then, like, even if you assume he's playable, that would give us 4 playable Harbingers out of 11. And that's a sizable chunk of a nation's cast to get through. So, I don't know. Maybe Sampo will be the 10th Harbinger we don't know about. Be very disappointed if Capitano isn't playable. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, like I've seen the data mines on like his file names and stuff, which is like the most convincing things to me, but also like I don't know. I don't know if or when that would happen. Um I just don't know. It would be really funny if we actually weren't going to resurrect Durin, but we actually went and got Wanderer for help resurrecting Capitano. That would be funny. That would be really funny. I think that would be hysterical. What do you mean I have to resurrect my former commander? What's my take on the lack of 5-star males lately? Genshin likes to alternate back and forth between having a region that has a lot of males and has a lot of females. That's all. I don't think too deeply about it. I don't think rarity really matters to me that much, so there's also that. What the hell is that wiki page? This isn't okay. This isn't like a crazy wiki page to find, for the record. You just type in Sampo. Like, if you ever come across a word that you don't know what it is in Genshin or Star Rail or anything else, just go to Wikipedia, type the word in, and see what comes up. Usually that'll be a great place to start researching something. Was Kirara Oraron? Oh, maybe. Maybe. If Capitano's sitting on the throne is the glue trap, I think there'll be someone pulling him out of the throne. Yeah, I think part of that theory included the fact that we had to pass 3 trials as a result, or as like part of that quest. And there are 3 swords in his presumed constellation. But that's not my theory. It's just one that I have seen. But you heard Wiki is the least reliable source. I mean, a Wikipedia article should never be your only source, but it's a very reliable first source for like general overview, getting into something, kind of like trying to get a lay of the land, so to speak. Like, is everything in here true? Probably not. But if you go down to the sources, these might be pretty good places to start, you know? I mean, you gotta start somewhere. Why not start at something that's a little bit more simple? Like, no one's gonna be able to just dive straight into the heart of Finnish mythology and like pluck something out of thin. You know what I mean? So, like, yes, wikis should never be your only source. And before anyone says that they've looked at my citations and been like, oh, you've only got Wikipedia articles on there, it's because I really only think people are gonna look at Wikipedia articles. If I do put further reading, like some you know, I'll put books or PDFs or research papers and things like that that I have read that are relevant, that I'm pulling from as well in there. But like oftentimes I feel like people will only read a Wikipedia article. Like the odds of them actually looking through the books or the papers that I include is slim to none. In fact, the people who are even checking my citations are very few and far between. But yeah, I think of it more that way. APA on a good day, yeah. But yeah, okay, so again, like Wikipedia usually cites their stuff, and you can usually click a citation. It'll bring you to, like, here we go. Here's your source. And then you can decide whether or not you think this is a good source. Actually, sacredtext.com is a good website. I quite like that site. It's a good one. Smelly Yella, thank you for the super. Been thinking about Sino's relation to the abyss in regards to the visible light spectrum theory, and it feels too important. This with the Saritsa, the Frost Moon, and Kaya. Oh, cryos, not Sinos. Oh, okay, that makes more sense. Yeah. Yeah. Um, I mean, if you want to go that far, I would assume that I would look into thermodynamics for your answer onto how cryo applies to the abyss here. That might not seem like it's smart, but how do I put this? Yeah. If you think about life only being able to exist in a certain like spectrum of temperature, um, which is kind of like and if you think of temperature as sort of being like the activity of atoms, right? They gotta move. They gotta move in order to generate heat and energy and that kind of stuff. So if you think of life as only being able to exist in certain parameters of heat and energy in this case, then cold is just the lack of heat. So cryo should be the same thing, lack of heat, lack of energy. It's the absence of this stuff. So to me, that is pretty related to the abyss. So when we have the heat death of the universe, part of the reason why it's called the big freeze is because, that's when all of the energy goes away and things get real cold. Not because cold is a thing, but because heat is no longer a thing. So, cryo relating to the abyss, it's more likely than you think. No, the new artifact lore is not out yet. We will talk about it when it comes out, but not until then. You gotta wait a couple more weeks. Okay, so I understand why people would think that hydro is the, opposite of, or like more abyss related, but like the reality is, if phlogiston is closer to pyro, because both properties of fire, the opposite of phlogiston isn't water. Like the opposite of fire isn't water. The opposite of fire is no fire. And fire is just like pure heat for the most part. And so the opposite of pure heat is pure cold. And cold is just the absence of heat. So that makes it ice. Because, like, ice is just frozen water. Water is like a substance that's required for life. You have to apply heat to ice to get the water. So it still makes more sense that cryo kind of like goes on that far. Is that why a lot of cryo characters seem to have themes of death? I mean, I think a lot of the characters have themes of death. I think it's a little tricky to point to an element and be like, hey, look, everyone's dead. You know. Ice is opposite to steam. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, if you want to get technical, sure. This is kind of a hard thing to like do a one-to-one comparison on, I'm realizing. Panda, thank you for the super. Traveler's Ascension material looks like phlogiston. Indeed it does. I used that as a basis for a theory on draconic alchemy a little while back. Thought that was fun. Oh, apparently the Genshin sub is thinking the Zhongli cosplay and the Coldplay video is foreshadowing the Moon Lord. Okay. I'm gonna further this, and then this is gonna be like one of my last things because I gotta quit here because I've got another stream I gotta get to in an hour. I need time to feed the dogs and take care of a few other things before that stream starts. So the Coldplay thing. If you guys haven't seen the Coldplay thing, okay, because I think we're done with the trailer. Oh, this is still playing. If you haven't seen the Coldplay thing, it's basically Coldplay song "Man on the Moon," but with Zhongli and Yae Miko in some very shippy kind of scenarios. And it's an officially sponsored Hoyoverse promotion, and it confused a lot of people because Zhongli and Yae Miko have never interacted, and they have like, you know, no points of contact. And I don't really care much about ship discourse, so I was just like, yeah, whatever, it's fine. You know, they made a video about it. It's exists, I guess. And I didn't really think much of it until the Moon Lore dropped, and I realized, oh, you know what's going on here? Okay. So here's the thing. Nabumali Kata is a Seelie, right? Nabumali Kata is also someone who danced along the dunes with the three sisters of the moons, which means that she was quite close with the moon sister, which would put her as a fairly high-ranking Seelie at the very best, or one of the moons herself if there is a fourth moon. Especially if you consider moons to be Seelies, especially if Seelies are angels, and moons are just like archangels, another theory I have pitched in another video a while back. So Nabumali Kata, when she got down to Tibet, grew very fond of a race in the desert known as the Tignarians. Now the Tignarians are foxes, right? Right? Tignarians are foxes. And in fact, they used to be very bright green foxes, apparently. They used to be very dark, bright green foxes. So like Twiggy's tail here, like the tips of it is probably more what the Tignarians of ancient times looked like, because after the fall of the cities in the desert, the Tignarians moved into the forest, and that's who Tignari is descended from, okay? Now, the thing about Tignari is that if he's a green fox, we happen to have another green fox in the form of Sucrose. Now, you can argue that Sucrose is a dog. You can. But she actually doesn't know what species she is. She says she doesn't quite have the same similarities as a dog, but she doesn't think she's a cat like Diona either. But she still thinks she's in that sort of family. And a fox is somewhere between a cat and a dog. Not technically biologically, but like, you know, whenever you think of a fox, when people describe foxes, it's always somewhere between a cat and a dog. Okay? And she's green. In fact, she's the same shades of green as Tignari is. In fact, she even has this light blue piece here where Tignari has this light green piece here. And I'm like, what's going on here? And then I started thinking, well, you know what? Yaimiko is another fox. Of course, she's pink. She's not green. But she has the sloped ears that Sucrose has. And so when I say that A is a moon and a dragon and everything else, I'm also looking at the fact that she is very close to foxes. And the other character that we know that is very close to moons and everything else is Venti, who's supposed to be a fragment of Istaroth, who is a shade of the primordial one, which doesn't technically make him a moon, but it could if the shades are technically fragments of the moons, replacements for the moons, or whatever else you want to call them. Either way, Venti is still quite close to the moon. It's a lot of his symbolism, you know, and he happens to be in Mondstadt, which is Moon City, which is home to another fox. And then in the desert, we have Nabumalikata, who was a Seelie who had a whole race of foxes that was nearby. And so when I started looking at it that way, I'm just like, oh, so if we assume that foxes in this case are related to the moons and related to Seelies, especially if you start considering stuff like fox fire, right? Like will-o'-the-wisp spirits and that kind of stuff. Oh, that's weird. I don't want fungus. I mean, I like fungus, but no, not that. Things start to get kind of interesting. Because you could liken these to little Seelie spirits. You could. These little Foxian sorts of things, right? What really got me thinking in this direction was in Star Rail, they have a whole race of Foxians, but the Foxians are also technically the same race as the Borisans, who are wolves. And they, and the wolves pass on a crimson moon to their successor. And the current possessor of the crimson moon is a fox, a Foxian. So I'm thinking like, okay, so if you think of Yaimiko as representing the moon here, because foxes related to moons and stuff like that, then Zhongli is related to the sun. So we're looking at the union of a sun and a moon. And if we really want to push the envelope a little bit, we could look at that as foreshadowing for the traveler from afar and a Seelie who married him. Them. Probably a him. Do you see? Do you see where it's going? It also makes you wonder a little bit because if you think that we're talking about Ajax earlier. What is the name? I think it's Ballad of the Fjords. This one. Talking about Child earlier. Is it this one? Yes, it is. Okay. So I was looking at this. This story here is a story of the Ajax that Child is named after, right? So this thing talks about this whole golden city that's like underneath the earth due to some ancient disaster. And then there's a silent king on a blah, 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 getting eaten away by insects. I still think this sounds like Deshret, but that's like a whole other thing. There's silver white trees in the courtyard, and we know that silver white trees are associated with Seelies because like Sibylla was connected to a silver white tree and all that kind of stuff. We've got Seelies and trees and that kind of thing. I still think that Seelies are sort of like the butterflies that land on the tree branches and stuff like that. But so silver white trees, blah, 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 Seelie stuff. He also ended up meeting, yeah, Snegorochka. I did not say that right. That's okay. He fell in love with this one. This means snow woman, I think. And yet they lost each other due to the wicked tricks of the changelings. It's truly a tragic tale. If we think about this way, the way I see it, Ajax here could be a reference to the traveler from afar, because he came from a different land, ended up in a subterranean city with silver trees, maybe fell in love with a Seelie, and it ended tragically, which is the story of the Seelie and the traveler from the far. I know this is like mostly vibe-based, but the thing about Child is that if you look at him in his promotional material, oftentimes what you'll find... Oh, my bad. He's called Tartaglia in the thingy. Oftentimes, he's, like, equated to... he's usually fishing, for one. But I feel like in a couple of official events, they've likened him to a fox. He does have the coloring of a red fox, too, which probably helps. I don't know if it's actually going to be in his gallery. Well, it's fine. But if you think of it that way, then he embodies the spirit of both, right? The foxy Seelie, and then the traveler from afar. The sun. Because, like, the traveler in this case is usually, like, the traveling star, the little light. Or if you want to, like, put it in Pale Princess terms, you could say it's the Prince of Light. And then it's the... What is her name? The Pale Princess. The Pale Princess being the Seelie. You've got the... Do you see? Do you see what they're doing? The character choices are intentional. Yeah. Anyway. Hoyo Fair has a lot of fox child animations. Yeah. That might be what it is. It might just be like the Hoyo Fair stuff, which isn't actually good stuff to reference for theorizing purposes. But the fact that so much of the community even just sees him as a fox equivalent, just a very foxy character in general, is enough, I think, to kind of like push the envelope, or at least like support the concept that that might be what it's referencing. He's dressed as a werewolf in this one. Not quite the same thing, but you know. Anyway, what time is the next stream? Because you've got conflicting information. I don't actually know. Oh, it's at 8:30 is what Josh said. But then again, I didn't ask Josh. I asked Azzy because Josh never tells me what time. Oh, no, it's just at 8. So it's like in an hour, so I gotta go. Anyway, that's why I think they chose Zhongli and Yai Miko. It's a whole nother argument to try and push the idea that I think Crystal Marie's theory about Zhongli having some sort of power equivalent to the primordial one, or at least the current Fanes-like equivalent, or Phanes-like equivalent in Celestia. I think that theory may be true, which would make him solar, and it would make Yaimiko lunar, and therefore sun and moon, and Seelie and traveler. Do you get the idea? The descender and the moons. Joshua is in Joshua Waters is in Finon's no. Josh is in Jashea, or I don't even know how you say his name properly. It's Jshoea. I just don't like saying his name that way, so I call him Josh. Yeah. We're gonna have fun though. We're gonna talk Zenless for a long time. Yeah. Anyway, if you guys have any last minute questions, get them in now, because I gotta get going. What is Crystal Marie's channel? She doesn't have a channel, but she often posts stuff on Blue Sky or Reddit. You'll find her over there instead. Well, she does have a YouTube channel, but it's not for theory stuff. It's, she does other projects. Not at all Genshin related. Any idea what's that solar system and 11 in the web event? My best guess is Harbingers, because there are 11 Harbingers, and I think that would be funny. Is it spelled Crystal Marie? Swap the Y for an I. So it would be, oops. Yeah. Thoughts on the Walkman? I've talked a bit about the Walkman. Where's the ZZZ stream? Like which channel? It's gonna be over on Twitch. I'll put the link on the community tab, okay? If you guys want to go visit the Zenless stream with a bunch of us, like Azrael, Vanity, and stuff like that, like we're gonna be over on. Actually, I think they're gonna be multi-streaming it, so you might be able to head over to Azrael's channel and stuff too. I'll go put it on the community tab. It's in an hour, so I have to do that like ASAP. So if you want to know where it is, get the links and all that kind of stuff, the information will be on the community tab in like the next 5 minutes. And then we'll go from there. Me not spelling right. That's not a surprise. As you will know, I am dyslexic and often think I'm spelling things correctly, only to read them an hour later and be like, oh, that's not right. So, yeah, it happens. Anyway, we didn't talk about the stream all that much. There's a lot in here. I can't wait to sink my teeth into. There's just a lot of big question marks. I'm very excited about. Very excited about this. Very excited. I want to go to the moon. Do you think Conria might actually be on the moon? Sorry, no. I'll stop. I'll stop. Canonless, thank you for the final super chat. No more super chats. No more. No chats for you. Blackberry Dr. Pepper is amazing. Just got a case. Here's 10 for you. I got 10 Dr. Peppers. What if I make a soda, but instead of like it being Dr. Pepper, I just put peppercorns in it? I bet I could do it. I bet I could do it. I could. I could make like a peppercorn kombucha with blackberries. It would work. It would work. I don't know if it would taste good. I'm gonna try it. Anyway, I'll see you guys. If you want to do the stream, I'll see you over on Josh's channel. If not, then I'll see you guys next time. Probably in, well, I don't know if I want to release that theory before Natlan comes out. I might not. I might not release that theory before Natlan comes out. We'll see. I just have a sneaking suspicion there's going to be a lot more information in here. I don't think I'll finish it before, with enough time for this to come out, but we'll see. All right, we'll see you guys later. Take care of yourselves. Bye.